All right, big man, welcome to Dog Walk, presented by Barstool Sports. It's Snake Draft Monday. We're joined in studio by KFC. Fourth time.
This is my fourth time?
Fourth time.
What we do, Thanksgiving, bad days?
Bad days.
What was the other one?
That was
Toys.
a great one.
Was it?
Oh,
Toys.
yeah, toys.
Oh,
Toys.
yeah.
Toys.
That was a
That was a fun one. That was a really good one. Yep. All right, let's do it. Number 4.
How you feeling?
I was asking before, and I guess that's the crux of this whole thing: is do you try to win, or do you just try to like draft the stuff that you like and the best conversation and whatnot? I don't think I've ever come into it really being like, what's gonna win the draft, as opposed to like, here's what I liked. Like thinking, I think I had all my drafts. I think I had like one fatal pick to win that I was like, I liked this, but nobody else in the fucking world knew it.
Yeah. But
So
you could
we'll
look
see.
at it
That's
a
how it
couple
goes
ways,
typically.
though. A couple ways it could be, all right, here's my chance to sell people why this is fucking worth it.
Yeah, but like something like, you know, your favorite toy. If you didn't play with that toy, you're not
Yeah.
fucking
Correct.
picking me. You know what I
Right.
mean? So like,
Correct.
there's certain things that are, if it's not near
But
and
you
dear
don't-
to your heart, you're not.
You don't think that same logic applies to this? Like, I feel like you have to have like
I do.
almost like a relationship with that character.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, I could easily, you know, if I get the first overall pick, and I could easily take Tony Soprano, which is I'm sure what people are going to do. I'm not a big Sopranos fan.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you could also acknowledge
Sure.
the significance.
Yeah, like with The Wire, and I think that this is going to just be loaded with characters from The Wire and Sopranos. Those are two shows that I acknowledge are, I don't say they're bad shows. I know that they're written by talented people with amazing actors, and it's not like it's a poorly made show. It's just like mob stuff is not, I'm not as high on the mob as like the rest of the world is. And The Wire,
I don't think it's going to be all that. I mean, The Wire.
don't either.
The Wire isn't.
Yeah.
To me, The Wire is an amalgamation of great characters.
Yeah, that's
There's
what's
a couple
interesting,
people
too.
that kind of carry it. I suppose Sopranos obviously has some heavy hitters, personal favorites. I'm excited to see the board because I know there's some very like passionate characters along
Yeah.
the way. Maybe not people that carried a show, but like where you're like,
Well,
oh,
and then there's the
man.
opposite. There are shows that I think are awesome that I'm like, yeah, this doesn't have like one standout character. That's great, you know?
Yeah. Or I should say,
So-
I think it's a poor strategy if you load one show. I think so.
Oh, definitely.
So-
Depends. I mean,
Unless you think you can get 30%.
is that what it usually takes? You got to
No,
get
I
30.
think this is one of those drafts where 30%
Oh,
wins
got
it,
it,
though,
got it,
because
got it.
there's going to be so many.
It's just so many
comparable.
opinions of people who are, you know, I love that show or love that guy or whatever, you know?
Now, you come in as a guest, obviously multiple times here. I'm just curious, though, like, how has your mentality changed about being a guest on this Snake Draft as Ed's tendencies for corruption and leadership?
The development of Red Ed.
Are you any more off-put by the
I mean,
controversy?
Yeah, I mean, I just know that you better be, your picks better fall in line with, you know, Supreme Leader over there, or you're going to be in trouble.
No, that's the beauty of this show. If you just fucking go out there, you throw your glove on the field, and you fucking suck, you just blame me. That's nice. That's great.
That's one of the best parts of the show for sure.
Yeah.
If you don't prepare, you just come here and you just fucking toss a roster out there. It's just my
I can't
fault.
believe you would just say that about Stu right now.
I didn't say that about
Oh, well.
you. Did you say the S word or did I? You said it.
The Stu word?
Yes.
Why is that the S word?
I didn't put 2 and 2 together. Like, when I quickly looked at the graphic and I saw 1-1 was eating ass, and I was like, who the fuck did that? I'm like, the Chicago guys don't really talk like that. And then I saw a video like a second later from Stu being like, fuck the Chicago guys. I was like, oh, okay, there it is. Yeah, makes sense.
The way he drafted eating ass was so matter of factly.
Yeah, like, oh, of course it's number 1.
Yeah.
He's like eating ass.
It was
Like
getting
you're
his
picking
ass,
Jordan number
getting
one.
his ass eaten. Was
what
it?
was what was the dollar value he put on to go back in time?
It was like
I thought it was like billions.
it was,
He's like, I
it was
literally spent $5 billion to go back and have my ass eaten. for the
some
first time.
astronomical number. Yeah.
After a Yes concert at Nassau Coliseum.
Yep.
The Nassau Coliseum.
Nobody better
A
than
lot
Stu.
of playing time in that draft.
Stu, was your ass prepared? Oh, God, no. It wasn't.
Dude, even when I went to the Stu party, which is amazing, by the way, everybody's got to check that off their bucket list, going to a Stu Feiner party. He's giving me the tour of his property, and it's really amazing. It really is. And then, but they're mixed in with like little details. Like, I think you'll love this. The builder of his house that he lives in now was the main guy in Apollo 13 when they dump all the shit on the table and they say, we got to get those guys
He told
down
us
here
that,
with
yeah.
this stuff. He's the main guy who got them home. So I just thought that was a cool.
What?
Usually I don't give a fuck about.
Yeah.
Like,
I
thought
the
he
owner of the
said
house
it
used to
online.
be blah blah blah, and that one I was like, that's actually pretty cool.
That is cool.
But as he's mixing in details like that, he'll also be like, I fucked her on the patio right over there while my neighbors were watching. The 11-year-old came out and saw it. It was a whole, I'm like, okay, Jesus Christ.
Stu makes me like very uncomfortable when I'm talking to him, but I love him.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He's the best.
Yeah.
I love it. But all right, today's draft obviously is the HBO character draft. We did an HBO show draft. That was probably one of the first 5 drafts we've ever did.
Yep.
We've ever done, and I think it was 25 minutes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
funny
And I
that-
won. I think it's one of my 3 career wins.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's funny that we're circling back. Yeah, we don't know the winner of last week yet because we're recording this early because these guys are in town. So we'll just do the order now. Kevin, Harry has 1 through 5 behind his back. What number is it?
3,
No.
Carl.
4.
No.
2.
Yes.
I'll go first overall.
All right. 1 through 4, White Sox Dave.
3.
No.
1,
No.
KFC.
2.
Yes.
I will go. I'll take second.
Okay.
Yeah.
1 through 3, Carl.
1.
Yes.
Third pick.
Okay. 1 or 2, Dave.
2.
No.
1.
Yes.
All right, I'll go 4. All right, orders Chief, KFC, Carl, Eddie, White Sox, Dave. Hey, before things really get underway here, though, I do want to talk about our friends at Roman. Listen, everyone always likes some HBO After Dark. That was always a big thing, you know, whether it was Cat House, Real Sex, whatever you want to say. Listen, everybody used to watch it. You guys know it. Make sure you're using Roman when you're having your sex now. Summer days are long, so don't spend it having short sex. Roman swipes are the secret to longer lasting sex. And they have some data here. They have some numbers. Everyone loves analytics, and this is important, okay? So listen up right here very closely. The studies show, on average, after 1 month of using the Roman swipes, men last 3 minutes, and after the second month, 5.5 minutes. That's a 340% increase. 340. So if you're listening and you hear 340% increase, I don't know how you can't be interested to at least give it a shot. So make sure you're doing that, because Roman swipes are uniquely formulated to reduce overstimulation without eliminating the sensation altogether. And the more consistent you are with the swipes, the longer and better your sex will be. The swipes are super easy to use. Just take the swipe out of the packet, apply it, and let it dry for 5 minutes. Enjoy the longer lasting sex after that. Go to GetRoman.com/dogwalk to get your first month of swipes for just $5 when you choose a monthly plan. One more time, GetRoman.com/dogwalk. You get $5. It's just $5, excuse me, when you choose a monthly plan. Go do it. Thank you to Roman, great sponsor of this show. Go give him a shot. If you've never used them and you listen to the show forever, you've been hearing this ad forever, it's time to give Roman a shot. Go do it. All right. All right. Anybody have any feelings going? I don't think I'm going to do that great. Do you feel good? I mean,
I would have if I would
I
have.
don't.
Fucking chips fell better.
five spot.
I'll tell you this much. I texted Draft Master Clem, and he said I'm walking into a slaughter because he thinks it's going to be heavy Wire and Sopranos.
Really?
We'll see.
Yeah. So I'm not a Wire guy. So I think we talked
Nor
about
am
that.
I.
Yeah. So
All
I
right,
think
so there's only 2 wire guys.
Uh-oh,
Yeah.
Ed.
And I don't like that he's picking in front of me.
No, I mean, I don't.
See, I think that's good for you though, because I think there's more than one character, obviously.
Yeah.
So whichever one he picks, you pick the opposite.
yeah.
I have a
He takes Omar, you take Stringer, whatever.
Yeah.
I have a clear draft strategy. We'll talk about honorable mention. But
All
this
right.
is more than other drafts where I'm like, I think I have a good idea how about to go.
And,
Yeah.
And could we get it out there too? Show shaming. Like, a lot of people aren't going to see a lot of shit. So let's try to stay away from
You
that.
haven't seen this,
Yeah. I would, because I thought I had a big time blind spot with the Wire, and I'm sure I do. But I'm looking at my list, and I think I've got like 20 names here spread across 11 different shows. So I feel like I've actually seen probably way too much.
There's a lot of niche shit too.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought, I think The Leftovers is like one of the best shows ever. But
I love that
nobody's,
show.
Who's
Yeah.
gonna take from that? you know?
Yeah.
I think there is one to take from
I got
that.
9 shows on my
One,
draft.
one character from that show that I think is draftable.
Ooh, 9.
I'm trying to remember who I like. I mean, I used to write about that all the time, and like, who
Yeah.
did I love from that shit? We'll see.
That was great.
Yeah.
Those blogs are
Yeah.
great. But all right, we'll just kick it off here. Chief, you were
Taking Tony Soprano. Of
course.
So I think that's the only true 1-1, like, iconic character, iconic show. What's that? What are you
Continue.
saying? No, Dave, go ahead. You have an opinion about Tony Soprano.
I mean, he's the lead of maybe the greatest television show of all time, but I don't think he's the best character.
I think he is the most iconic character, a great character. I think he's the only one that, if you took one of the other ones, 1-1, I think that would be a mistake. I think there are.
I wouldn't take him 1-1.
well, I am drafting 1-1, so then that's why I took him 1-1. So, and he is a great character. The whole show is built around him and kind of like his internal struggles. I think everybody except for maybe Kevin has seen it apparently. And I love the show. I love the character. I think it is, like I said, I think it is the only true probably 1-1 available. So
Did
Tony
you
Soprano.
really scoff at Tony Soprano?
I mean,
Like, even Kevin didn't
no,
do that.
of
Kevin
course,
hates the
of course,
fucking
he's
show.
the clear-cut 1-1.
It's like
I actually disagree with that.
It's like the
but-
2001 Red Sox rotation. Like Pedro Martinez is fucking Tony Soprano, but of course people are walking around like, I like Derek Lowe more. I like Tim Wakefield more. Like, no, dude,
I
it's
think there is
fucking
one
Pedro.
person that you can make the argument for.
Really?
Yeah. Are we done with? Can I?
Yeah.
I think Larry
Yeah.
David. I'm taking Larry David.
Okay.
Okay.
I think Larry David on Curb is the only other guy, in the sense of like, because it's not even necessarily a character. It's just life. I mean, you're choosing life and all of its awkward shit
Yeah.
that like everyone can relate to Larry David somehow, some way, in some scene, some episode, at some point. Tony Soprano is like a great, like you want to be a mobster, or it's the anti-hero, all that shit. Larry David is a little bit of you, like a little bit of like everybody who's ever fucking lived and
Yeah.
been through an awkward situation, and relationships and work and friendships and all that shit. Those are the only two guys I thought, if you took, those would be my top two guys. If you took one, I would have took the other.
I love Larry David.
I mean,
Yeah. So like to me, it's like he's just a notch below. Maybe because he came in from Seinfeld. I know,
well,
like,
that's also
like,
again because I know we're only drafting the
Right.
HBO, but to me it's almost like you get it all, and I know you don't because
Yeah.
it's like those are two different shows, but they are all the same thing in my mind. In a way.
he's an all-time guy. Like
Yeah.
he's just to me, I think he's the funniest. I think he's the funniest person in TV history.
Do you think they should have not come back? Like I think they're
After
one of
what
the few
break?
shows that I think came back and had good seasons that people like, but I think it was like a mythical.
What's the
you know-
trajectory? What he stopped
Yeah.
for how many years? Do you know?
No, I don't even know. Off the
No?
top of my head,
I
but-
think the last season I loved was the one where they had the Palestinian chicken.
Yes, like that's like people.
Yeah.
That's what people think of, and they reference.
Yeah.
And they came back, and I think they did. It's never ending because there's always going
Yeah.
to be more awkwardness, especially as
Right.
technology grows and shit like that.
Yeah.
But like, I think the newer seasons that are not even so new anymore were like so jokey. It was
Yeah.
like punchline, reference, and it was amazing. But it also was like a little bit different.
Yeah.
I just think of. I think out of any show that left and had a hiatus and came back, it probably did the best. But sometimes it's always better to just leave them wanting more, where it was like the perfect however many seasons it was, and like you're done.
I would say that that's a show that I'll put on as background noise and rewatch, but I probably go see like even like the premiere. I would probably start like midway through season 1 and stop at like season 7.
Sure.
And I think that's their sweet
peak.
spot.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, which is I think before that hiatus.
Oh yeah, it's weird hiatus. They like take years off randomly.
Yeah.
Been around since 2000, but there's only been 4 seasons since 2011.
Yeah.
They don't really rush it. They don't. It's not. It's just Larry probably saying when he wants
he's
to do
the
it, when he
king.
doesn't want to do it.
And I think there's something really cool about the fact he absolutely does not have to do that show
At all.
Like it is, you could tell it's purely just like he's
I'm
keeping
sure
himself
he has
busy or
told
whatever.
HBO execs to go fuck themselves like 1,000 times because I'm sure they're like, we need a new season, Larry, and he's like, fuck you.
Yeah, that's probably why
You know?
part of the hiatus is just like I don't have
Right.
to do
Well,
this.
I do it when I want to do it.
And I think they told him they're like, hey, whenever you want to do it. Like
Right.
you basically like
It's
lifetime
like a lifetime contract.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Says a lot
Wakefield.
about
It's
him.
my
That
second
Yeah, it
freedom-
Wakefield
does.
reference today.
That freedom's huge. wait, time
Come to
out
the
though.
well.
back to Chiefs pick real quick though. Are you saying that because you think there's better characters from The Sopranos to take, or just better characters overall, Dave? Right? That's
Got him.
Tony
Curious.
Soprano is just
It's chalk, and you don't
It
like
is
it. It's
definitely
chalk, but it's
chalk.
like
It's
chalk. It's
and-
like when Michael Jordan. Well, I guess Michael Jordan didn't go first overall, but it's like when you have
For sure, I
can't
get it.
fire,
Yeah.
I can't miss
It's-
pick. You take it.
yeah.
I just fucking hate Tony Soprano. He's a cunt. I liked other characters more in the show.
Oh, so
Of
we're doing
course,
personal
sure.
grudges now. Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't know
Well,
that our personal
yeah.
relationships
that's-
with the characters.
No,
matter.
I get all that. That's
I
the way
have
what you
I
gotta
have
weigh.
like villains on my list that
Yeah,
I
for
might
sure.
take, but I fucking hate them. But they're great
I'm
characters.
interested to see if people have. Maybe you'll have it because you don't like Tony. Like if somebody's like, I was watching The Leftovers like at a period of time in my life where like I really needed it, and it's like you know what I mean. Like this character really like, or if you're gonna draft for the masses because people get real personal with TV.
They
Like you're
very
offended
much
by
do.
Tony.
I'm not offended by him. I just think he sucks, and I enjoyed other characters much more.
We'll see who you're picking.
We'll
All
see.
right.
Yeah.
Larry David off the board. Yeah, good pick. Carl, you're up.
Dude, what's the one pick that always gets taken from me in drafts? I'm like, I come into drafts and I'm like, there's one that's really personal to me.
The
and
2005 Illinois versus Arizona game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
And Dave takes
That
it
is
from me
one.
every time.
Yeah.
I love that game.
And I know Dave loves the game, and I know it's a big game. But it's at the point now where if Dave has the opportunity to take it, he just fucking sticks it to me.
How many times has that been a choice?
3 or 4 times.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, we've done like 200 of these, so it's
We've done
been a-
like comebacks. We've done
Got
like
it.
March
All right, I
Madness.
see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, like personal stories that mean a lot to you more than anyone else in the room. And like I'll be picking 4, Dave will pick 3, and he'll tell this story about being at Buffalo Wild Wings with his uncle Bobby, and it just kills me every time.
It wasn't Bobby. It was
Well, that
friends,
that
but
makes
yeah.
me. I feel like I know where you're going then.
Yeah, so with that being said, I'm going to fucking Shabooms. I'm taking Kenny Powers, eastbound and down. I know White Sox Dave got up today and was like praying to God that he'd have a chance to draft him. If there's one thing you've ever wanted to pick ever, it's probably Kenny Powers for the HBO character draft. I'm taking it from you. Fuck you. There's better characters
fine.
out
Is that
there.
true?
There's probably better
That'd have been your
characters in
pick.
shows,
I don't
whatever.
think
I
that's-
have been
I don't know
waiting
that
for
there
this
is.
forever.
I don't know that there is.
Is this? Do you think he deserves a first round pick, or is this pure spite?
I think he's back end. I think he's perfect 5th overall character. I think
Okay.
it's like
I would have
right
taken
in the
him.
sweet spot.
1,000%.
Oh,
I was
yeah,
gonna-
Oh,
Dave
and there
said
was going to be, and then he
Yeah.
was every
Oh,
story
you would-
about Stevie Janowski, about how many
Whoa.
times he watched it. Oh, I fucked
Oh no!
He should.
Sorry.
He shouldn't even be allowed to draft him after that.
I should be penalized for that, but not during this draft. I'm too focused right
I feel like we should just
Are you
give
going
him.
to do something about this?
No.
That was so bad. I owe an apology to everyone. I'm gonna get ragged on that. My Instagram DMs, the mean ones. That's where you get them. People, Twitter DMs will say, "Hey man, great." Instagram DMs is when they say the real mean stuff. So come and get it, fellas. I fucked that one up. But nevertheless, Kenny Powers, the jet ski, Shabu. I mean, it's probably the greatest first season for a character ever.
Of all time.
I
Yes.
think in recent years, there's one quote from Kenny Powers that I do more than anyone. Like, I'm not lifting that shit. It's heavy. Yeah, and I like
That's the
that.
truth.
That has become like I don't know if you guys saw this clip went viral. Allen Iverson was on a show and he was like, if I had tried to play football, he's like, I would have been a better football player than I was a basketball player. And people are like, what? And he's like, nothing against basketball. And they're like, why didn't you play football? He's like, lifting weights, like that shit's heavy. And I'm like, Allen Iverson, Kenny Powers, Ryan Brandell, we're all the same brain. We don't lift heavy shit.
Lifting heavy shit is out.
Yeah.
But no, just a quote machine. I think that I've told this story 1,000 times, but I'll tell it again. I don't give a shit. First time I ever saw it, I was in Atlanta for a spring trip for baseball. We're playing K Marco's old school, Emory. And it was on TV Sunday night, and I'm like, this is gonna be so fucking stupid. Within 30 seconds, I was like pissing myself laughing. It's a perfect opener. It's trash TV.
It's
but
bad. It's like stupid,
so
but also
perfect.
like pretty funny. You know,
Yeah.
like
Pretty-
Danny,
pretty funny.
No, but I mean like it's very funny. But I'm saying like it's Danny McBride has perfected dumb,
Trash
but
TV,
smart
yes.
humor somehow
Yes.
at the same time.
Yep.
You know, or maybe it's a little like sophomoric, but it's actually well written.
Yep.
Whatever the combo
Dude,
is.
it's like
that's-
that
I think-
red-blooded American, like, hell yeah. Like,
right,
fucking
right, and that
suck
works.
my dick.
That fucking plays. I'm Kenny Powers. You're fucking not. You know, I mean, it's
great.
He's like the cockiest character of
Yeah.
all time.
And I love a washed baseball player who
Yeah.
like still think he has
That's a
it
great
like
up character
more
in
than
general.
other washed. Like if you're a washed football player, like you know you're done.
Yep.
You know, like
Baseball
there's
players
some
always
baseball
think.
players like,
Hanging
yeah,
on.
no, dude. It's honestly, if my shoulder wasn't fucked
Yeah.
up, I'd still be.
Oh,
fine.
if I had
Dave
to shift
Portnoy.
against me right now, yeah, I mean, right.
I watch
That- and I
baseball
didn't even
games
say that intentionally
every
for a
night of the
day.
week, and if a fucking hitter swings through a hung slider, I'm like, I would have fucking murdered
Yeah,
that pitch.
yeah.
I would have fucking murdered that pitch.
Yeah. What the fuck?
Please
do
give me
need
a
I
strength
commend you.
training?
That was a good move.
Thank you,
That
Evan.
was a good move. You got it. And
That's why I
Been sitting
was,
on that one for so long.
Yeah.
When he said it out
it's
yesterday.
necessary.
And
You
I-
had to do it. I get it.
And I got to do it again. I got to play you. I mean, I have to play you.
Go ahead.
And I got time is a flat circle. I'm taking Russ Cole from True Detective.
Man, good one.
Yeah, I mean one and done character, one and
Yep.
done. But I mean, you fucking talked about the show.
that is
that
the
was-
most outstanding acting I've ever seen in my
Yeah, that
life.
was, I mean, that was.
spectacular.
I don't know which came out first, whether it was Dallas Buyers Club or True
About the
Detective.
same time.
But it was
Yeah.
like right
Yeah.
around the same time where it was like fuck you. I can do more than you think I can do. I've been
'Cause
sitting
he
on
was
this
like
for
the-
years,
Yeah.
and now I'm gonna go win Emmys and Oscars and just be like the coolest dude in the world. I do hate the ending of that. I don't hate how all of a sudden Rust became like, look at this guy.
Yeah.
Maybe life's good. I wish he just kind of finished off being the nihilistic, like skeptical asshole.
Do you wish he
But,
died?
I have a problem with the whole ending.
Okay.
Fight said if you go back and watch it now, I haven't watched it like pretty much since, and he says it's one of those things. It's better than
I would
remember.
agree with Feidelberg.
But
Really?
I've
just
watched
the
it 4 or
whole
5
like
times,
House
yeah.
of Horrors with the Yellow King, it just became something the show really wasn't for a long time. I'm okay with when people get mad that we're not opening every single Easter egg and every single question wasn't answered. I know we get silly about that, especially in the days of Reddit and stuff. But I still think there's an argument to be made that like the ending kind of departed from like the whole rest of the season. But whatever. That's that's just nitpicking because everything up to that was. And the amount of memes that come out of it,
Yeah.
and the pictures, and the quotes, and which is crazy. That actually matters in my mind. It matters these days, like a TV character. But the picture with the cigarette
Yeah.
and the
With the cell phone.
different looks with
Yeah.
all of it, like the timeline jumping, it's incredible.
Yeah.
I thought
I
that
actually probably that would have maybe been my number one. Like I think those three actually are Larry, Tony, and
Yeah.
him would be the argument.
He's up there, yeah. I mean, that questioning scene with the Lone Star beer and everything, that's
yeah.
there's some iconic.
When he's cutting them
Cutting
up
them
and
up,
crushing
yeah.
them and all that shit.
Yep.
That if that had like 4 seasons of that,
Yeah.
I wonder. You know,
the second season
that,
was
but that's
most
another one where it's like you
pathetic
leave
thing
it-
I've ever seen.
Oh, it was so bad. It was so bad. It was so
Season 3
bad.
was pretty good.
It
was
bounced
fine.
back.
Yeah.
I mean, Mahershala Ali is a fucking
Yeah,
unbelievable. That was
yeah.
season 3, right?
yeah.
God,
He's
he's so
unbelievable.
good. Yeah.
I think if that was season 2,
Yeah.
I think
Still going.
this history,
Yeah.
yes, the
Yeah.
history of True Detective is totally different. But I think
They tried
left
to
such
do
a bad taste in
with McConaughey and
what they did with Vince Vaughn.
With Vince Vaughn, you can't do that with everybody.
And-
Vince Vaughn, he's the fucking Wedding Crashers.
him
cheap humor.
Also, people don't realize Nick Pizzolatto wrote season 1 of True Detective his whole life. He was tweaking that and writing it and perfecting it, and then they were like, "Cool, season 2 in 10 months." You know?
Yeah, like,
and then
get
that
to
guy
it,
he
chop,
got exposed
chop.
a little bit.
Yo,
Yes.
you ever watch the interviews with him after the
He's such
episodes?
an asshole.
Dude, the way he explains the show is like, it's so deep in nuance that like, I don't like that you're the guy behind all this
I
stuff.
can appreciate that stuff, but sometimes it's like, I don't know. I just wrote a fucking dope character who's
Yeah.
cool,
See,
So,
yeah,
for
it was
example,
so-
it'd be like the literary themes here that we're
Yeah,
trying to
it's
capture are
tough.
very
Oh, he's got,
circular
like, that,
and within
Superman
this,
thing,
yeah,
Greek
like
mythology.
within the irony of the
and
story.
he I think did not ingratiate himself to many people in Hollywood. I think
Yeah.
everyone was like, Nick Pizzolatto is a fucking dick.
Yeah.
And then when you gotta have the goods for season 2 and you don't, it's like,
Can I say another thing about that too? I think that show is what I remember as well as being one of the main shows that made the shift to getting these A-listers to do TV.
huge.
Oh, definitely.
It was
Yeah, yeah,
really
yeah,
unheard of.
definitely.
McConaughey and the other one, obviously, I'm not going to name, but that's why too. Like if you give
Huge.
them, like if it's now, they probably sign on for another season.
Yep.
So
yeah, like it used to be like TV is embarrassing. The little
Right.
screen,
Yeah.
the silver
Like,
screen,
oh,
the small screen.
right.
And now I honestly think it's better to be in a successful show than it is to be in a big
Well,
movie.
because you can do that character for 10 hours instead of for 2.
Right.
Like, it's-
and if you get multiple seasons, you
Yeah.
can do it for a fucking decade.
I think
you
it's
know?
especially too if you're at the point in the career where you're kind of like done a little bit of this and that. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, now I want to latch onto something.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
that was a huge shift for TV as well. That was it was unbelievable, man.
Those
You know
two
what?
guys.
No, season 2, he made one of the focal points. I remember reading that the U.S. transportation system. What you know how like the bayous of like Louisiana was like a character in season
Yeah.
1.
Yeah.
Season 2 was like the highways of America because he's like there's more to it than you realize. And so if you watch, there's all these drone shots of interstates and tunnels.
Yeah,
and I was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
and at the time I'm drinking the Kool-Aid, so I'm like, all right, cool. I don't know, maybe there's something to it. And then I'm just like,
deep
we're
in
just
it.
watching
Yeah.
tunnels and bridges. I'm like, this fucking sucks,
Well,
man.
everybody in America loves the idea of high-speed rail, too. So, like, let's just build a whole plot around that meme. Yeah.
wow, he hasn't done a whole. I mean,
No, that's the thing. I mean,
Yeah.
I think he kind of had his moment of fame, moment of
that
glory.
that lifetime writing it first 10-month thing has me very worried about Squid Game. Like they announced season 2, and like even like the promo from the writer was like, I spent 12 years getting Squid Game season 1 made, and it's like now we're doing it in like I think 10 months or something like that. It's like,
oh boy.
that's gonna
And
be
you're gonna
tough.
have a whole team on
it.
it
Yeah.
now, and a bunch of
But
different.
what if he could get the characters back? He could ride the back of the characters. I don't know if it's possible.
He
I
is.
don't know if they would
There's-
do it again.
Yeah.
Oh, wait,
for Squid Game, you mean?
no,
Oh,
for True Detective.
For True Detective.
Like if
So
they're
I-
like, hey, we're just gonna forget
Yeah.
Oh,
about
they're running
season
back?
2. Yeah, I don't know.
McConaughey did an interview with Rich Eisen, and he said that he would definitely do another season of Rust Cole.
That's huge.
So who knows?
Huge.
But he said he would.
So yeah, I think that's a worthy first rounder.
definitely.
And
Absolutely.
Definitely.
would you have taken him too?
Not maybe for the wraparound.
Okay.
I got the guy that I was going to draft after Kenny Powers.
All right. Well, you're up.
I'm going with Dick Winters.
Good one.
Dick Winters, I think it's the best miniseries ever created. It's the most emotionally attached I've ever been to a cast of characters, let alone Dick Winters. Kevin, did you ever get into Band of Brothers?
I mean,
You don't
I
strike me as the war.
No, I'm not that. I think I was just like younger at the time, and at that point, as much as of a like the TV guy that I became, I wasn't like at that point in my life, so I wasn't. That's also part of The Wire and The Sopranos is I'm having to go back and watch things. It just it
That's
doesn't
where I
have the
struggle
same
too.
luster. Like it
For
just
sure.
doesn't when you have the bar already.
This
set
one
high.
does. I'll watch
It still works,
Band
yeah.
of Brothers once a
that's-
year or so,
it's,
and it doesn't get old. It
It's
does
dude
not
from,
ever get
it's,
old.
the guy from
Billions.
yes.
Yeah.
right,
Damian Lewis.
Right,
Yeah.
Damian Lewis, right?
Yeah.
Damian Lewis, married to Paulie from
R.I.P.
rest in peace. In real life, to Paulie from Peaky Blinders. Did you not get in Peaky Blinders either?
No, I love Peaky Blinders.
But yeah, Band of Brothers is my favorite series of all time. Dick Winters, the head honcho, fucking war hero. Only died a handful of years ago in real life, but I love that show. I love Dick Winters. I would metaphorically and physically go to war for Dick Winters, and that's my pick.
Now, is there a better character from that show? Because I know one has been drafted in the previous
I mean,
draft.
that's the beauty of the show is each episode is tailored to a specific person in that company. So one episode will be this guy, one episode, and towards the end, obviously, it gets Dick Winters has been promoted to major by like the 8th episode, I think, and
He's the guy.
yeah, he's
Okay.
he's
Yeah.
the
He's
guy.
the one.
He's
Okay.
the guy.
Forget the guy named Carl drafted, but we can't say it anyways.
Yep.
All right, Dave. One more.
There, I mean, could be douchebag draft or something. There's a very punchable person in that show. I'm going to Arya Stark next.
Ooh. Wow.
Easily my favorite character in Thrones, without
Wow.
question.
I think there are better Thrones characters to pick.
I do too.
Perhaps,
But-
perhaps I love Arya Stark is the baddest bitch on the planet. Cunning, smart, tough as nails. That scene where she's like practicing fencing or sword fighting or whatever with the big bitch. What's her name?
Brienne of Tarth.
Brienne of Tarth.
Yeah.
I was rapping that.
When she's like fucking ducking and diving like she's Floyd Mayweather, and Brienne of Tarth's like, what the fuck is this? I love it, Arya Stark. I don't care if you guys don't like her. My favorite character in the show.
I loved Arya Stark too.
She's fucking vengeance filled.
But that whole thing, the many-faced gods plot line, I was
tough.
That
out on
was-
that.
It was tough.
Yeah.
It had to be there. It had to be there.
But they didn't really like.
They-
They did in a
they
way.
should have.
The problem with the ending really hurts a lot of
Yeah,
those
it does,
characters.
it
where
does.
It's like a lot of guys who were going to end up being.
I think
could
she's
have
the one
been
that did it hurt,
overall
though.
picks, and then they just through no fault of their own as actors and characters, it just blah because they didn't stick the landing. Like I thought the end with I think Arya being the person to kill the Night King while it's like a cool check in her box was like stupid. I think they forced that sex scene in there that was weird.
Yeah.
A lot like for seasons it felt like she's training, and then it like kind of sort of comes into play in the battle, but not really. But I think early Arya.
Who even
is-
knows? Because that battle was shot in the dark.
I
and
couldn't
you
even tell. You
fucking
can't
tell
even
anything.
I'm the
fucking
only
see
one
it.
on earth who loved that episode, I think.
Well, I think that's exactly
I
it.
love it.
I think
Like,
that speaks volumes, David.
The initial scene where they're running out the Dothraki,
And then they
run
just-
out, and they just extinguish that. I was like, oh, this is fucking cool. Everything after that, I'm like, this is bullshit.
Yeah, they
What-
fucked up for
what
sure.
do you think of the sex scene?
It wasn't really even a sex scene. You kind of saw her ass cheek.
I just thought that was so weird.
Yeah.
And I thought
Yeah.
it was kind of like lame that like she, I don't know. It just felt like they were like.
But right before
you
that,
got a female
she's-
character. She's got to have sex with a boy. She's got to have a love interest. It's like the whole time she's never been like that, and now all of a
But
sudden she's gonna be
it wasn't
crushing
like
on
that
a boy.
though.
But it
She
kind of
didn't.
was.
She wasn't though. She just wanted to get laid if she was gonna die.
I mean, I
That
guess
was
hey, we
it.
can all respect that.
And
but
she didn't. It wasn't a love interest. She didn't go with them to go to rule whatever
Yeah.
throne that Daenerys gave her.
Yeah.
or gave him. But when she's sitting there and he's talking, he's like, "Hey, do you got my my dragon glass sword?" And she's just sitting there throwing the knives, and he's like all intimidated. She's like a Black Widow.
I mean, when she's got the list and all that, the early Arya is
Yeah.
is
Yeah,
a bad bitch.
it's just
harder
crazy
towards the
how
end.
much that ending has gone against that show.
I
It's
know.
that, and
It's
then the
that-
fact that like it's just so hard to name like a number one.
Yeah, it's,
You know,
it's very
they-
yeah. Everybody kind of splits the vote, and
Yeah.
nobody had like the exclamation point on
Yes.
the end. You know,
Because it's really not a bad pick, but
there are. I mean, there there are going to be Thrones people in this
Yeah.
draft that I
Yeah.
think for sure. But they probably would have been 1-1 type people had they stuck
Stuck
the
to-
landing.
yeah, for sure. I totally agree there.
Fucking George R. R. Martin, you fat furry.
Get off
lazy
your
fuck.
ass.
Stop talking about the Jets and write your goddamn book.
Arya Stark off the board. It's back to me. I got to do it now. I got to take Omar Little from The Wire. Now, at least give me this. I know we have a lot of anti-Wire people in
I'm
the
not
room.
anti at all.
At least give me that. Like, it's one of the most badass characters of all time.
As a non-wire guy, that would have been my pick.
Yeah.
Like the whistle, the shotgun,
Dude.
the Omar coming, all that
Yes.
shit is like.
Yep.
What I have seen of the Wire, he was that dude. He was that dude.
Come at the king, you best not miss. Like,
Yep.
he
Yeah,
was the
talk about
fucking-
quotable and all
Yes.
that shit. Yeah, he's that guy.
He's one of those guys I could just watch YouTube highlights on. And I do.
Yeah.
You just watch Omar scenes.
Yeah, no, the first scene when they do the smash and grab or whatever,
Yeah.
he's just such a badass, and like they set the scene that like the environment in The Wire is very much filled with people who like have nothing to lose, don't
Yeah.
care, nothing, whatever, and everybody's kind of like dangerous and scary, and then Omar comes in over the top and is like the baddest motherfucker on
No,
them.
no
Like, they
ties to
establish
anybody, right? He's kind of
everybody's
rolls
bad.
solo. Like he's not a
Right.
part of any gang or
Mercenary.
any group. Like it's just everybody's afraid of him.
Yep.
Can I ask a question about it?
Yeah.
If I were to go back and watch, can I just skip season 2? Or is it critical to the rest of the show?
I don't think you should. I think it's critical to the rest of the show because it's the relationship between, like crime and then like the law enforcement side. And season
Okay.
2 totally like it all colorizes like the whole.
Okay.
I think
How
you
the
have
law
to be in
enforcement
love
functions.
with the show to really like season 2.
It's way more about the police side of things than it is about the crime side.
So
Where
I
a
feel
lot of
like-
it other shows you the
Well,
side
the
of
docs
things.
is what everybody cites, right? The
Yeah.
docs. I mean, and I remember when I first tried to watch it, pre-social media and Barstool and discussion, where you didn't even know everybody else's opinions, which I think is a huge part of TV right now, where it's like, do I like something? Let me go see if the internet
If
likes
I like
it too.
it,
You know,
yeah, that's
it's
just
crazy,
fucking stupid.
But I remember being like, these fucking scenes at these docs are like,
Yeah.
what are we doing? Oh, and then come to find when like everyone starts talking about it on the internet that everyone's like the docs. I think there was something like fundamentally wrong, at least for mass appeal, with like the docs scene. And that's not to say that there's probably not good shit that happens in those, but I'm just one of these people, like when you tell me like the Better Call Saul fans, they're like, season 4 it really gets good. I'm like, I'm not watching 35 hours of a
Right.
show
Yeah.
to get to the good parts.
They fucked that up, but we could. That's
But you know what I
another
mean? Like a
discussion.
lot
Yeah,
of
yeah,
I
know.
I can. A lot of it used to be like, oh, the first episode's slow. Give it a chance. And you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And that somehow turned into like the first season is slow, and then it turned
But
into
it's-
multiple seasons can be slow.
That's
it's like
The Wire
TV
for me,
shows
yeah.
need to be.
Yeah.
The
But it's a
majority of
slow
these seasons
burn.
and episodes,
Yeah.
that's the phrase that everybody
I
throws
know.
around.
But it's a
True
circle.
Detective was a slow burn,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
you were never like, what
Bored.
the fuck is this?
Yeah.
It was
Well-
like, ooh, what's going on? I want more.
Yeah.
Slow burn has now turned into
Boring.
yeah,
Yes.
the show can
Boring.
be boring for hours at a time, and then if you have one good big moment, it somehow makes up for the last 10
Right.
hours, and that's just not the case.
Yeah, and I feel like Mad Men gets lumped into that too.
Yeah.
People, I love Mad Men, but I couldn't get through season 2 of The Wire. So,
Yeah.
well,
Right, like yeah,
Yeah.
when people are like, it's over your head or you can't understand it, it's like I
This
just
is
don't
what
like
it boils down. Like I'm very sensitive about. I don't want to call it shit talking. I've said out loud that I don't really like The Wire, with respect to how popular and how like that's fine to each their own. In the end, it just kind of bored me. That's it. That's all. That's all it was. Like I was
it's just the
bored
Wire.
watching.
You know
it.
what happens is the Wire people get so people who love it,
Defensive, yeah.
and they yell at you, and then
Yeah.
I'm like, well, it really fucking sucks. It's like,
And then you dig your
recognize
feet
that
in
they're
even
good
more.
writers and they're good people. good actors, all that shit. I just don't like it, and then that somehow turns into
That's
like
all it
I
is.
think it's bad, because we're just arguing.
I mean, obviously, I love the show, and the last episode, it really does just kind of clicks for you, and like,
You know what I did like though, and it is enticing me to maybe go back, is the new one that just came out. We Own the
John
City
Bernthal?
with John Bernthal, which is like a real life story though, and I think that helps me a little bit more with it because knowing that it's like a true story, and I love Bernthal. That shit. I mean, when you see how fucking corrupt it was, like for real, because it's not just a fictional story. It is insane.
Is that an HBO show too?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And I think Chase or Simon,
David Simon,
was
yeah.
involved in it. Yeah.
Okay.
It's like everybody eventually got fired for corruption. It is nuts. It's amazing that city even is like still standing and functioning as is. It's wild.
No, yeah. So Omar Little, he would have been my number 4, but I had to play against White Sox Dave. So I'm happy to get Colin Little though.
That's a powerful one too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
Definitely is.
too. Carl, you're up.
It's a good pick too, because I'm the only competition
I
you
know.
have for the Wire, and I have 2 picks after that.
And that wasn't making it back.
No,
right,
it
there's
wasn't.
No way.
I mean, there's, as we'll get into some other good ones. Now I don't know if KFC's a big Sopranos guy, if that's been revealed, but I'm going to do it anyways. I'm going to take Pauly Walnuts.
Yeah.
Now, even though
that's
it's
who I
probably
was
there,
talking about.
If Chief double dips and takes Tony and Pauly, I think that's crazy. Obviously this is a little weak strategy here on my end if KFC's not going to take him, but I think it's, for purposes of the layout, I think it's heavy hitter to go, Kenny Powers into Pauly Walnuts. The guy literally carries so much of so that's kind of like what the mob, that's what it would be like. Because the whole thing that is sweet about Sopranos is it's not this it can be gory and gruesome, but it's the day to day, and it's like the funny bullshit about the family, and that's what kind of sucks you in.
They humanize it.
And Pauly really is like the driving force that is consistently making you laugh. Is the one who's like, dude, this is kind of like my uncles getting together, and the only difference is if they have to kill somebody and bury the body, they do it. So, just Pauly's the best. I mean, and timeless wonder throughout the show. The second he gets into the end of the show, is just like he kills it.
Yep. Dave.
That's exactly what I was weighing right there. Like, I love Pauly Walnuts. My favorite character by far and away. Now, obviously not the character of the show, not the namesake of the show, so that's what you got to weigh against. But, Pauly Walnuts is the fucking best part of the show. Top to bottom.
He's spectacular. Give us an O.
Oh!
Dude,
really
he
done that in a
fucking
while.
murders his mom's friend, or smothers her with the pillow
Yeah.
or whatever. It's just there's so many of these.
His one-liners are just...
Yeah.
The more, and then as
So
the series
funny.
goes on, and then they show you more of his life, and he's a great guy.
My
I love
parents
him.
in the Bronx live next to a character from The Sopranos. I won't say it in case somebody drafts him, but it's very funny watching, and a pretty noticeable.
the actor?
Yeah, the actor.
Huh.
And he lives in this little bungalow. We live on City Island in the Bronx. It's like a little fishing town. He lives in a literal bungalow.
Wow.
It's like a little village of these connected homes, and he just has this little patch of grass that's probably the size of that fucking carpet, and he just waters it, and
Hey,
it's hey man, how you doing? Very recognizable.
dogs.
name.
Fuck it, I kind of just want you to say it.
Yeah,
No,
just say
hold
it.
on,
Go
wait.
ahead.
I don't think he'll be.
Well,
It's
I'm pulling up the notable residents.
it's a very notable name from the show. It's awkward when your mom yells it out to
Wait. Oh,
Wait, do you know it?
Would he
Is
be?
this
Would he be drafted?
this is. There's no way he gets drafted.
Yeah.
All right, then
Big
say it.
pussy.
oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
yeah. So
I don't know
Sarah.
how prominent he is.
But
so I don't
that's
wanna
the
ruin it,
perfect
but-
character to stand there, water in a small patch
Yeah,
of
yeah,
grass.
yeah.
Big
Yes.
pussy.
And my mom, I remember
big
when
puss.
she was like, "Big pussy lives." I was like, "What? What did you just say to me, mom?" What? One time we were offered to. We had a little family emergency, and the cars that we needed to get were blocked by blah blah blah, and he offered to drive my mom to the hospital. So really nice. guy.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
I like that.
Vinny,
all
Vinny
right, it's up to
Pastore.
me?
Yeah, you're up.
Despite me just trashing the ending, in honor of the first 4 seasons, I'm gonna go Thrones, and
I know who you're doing.
Huh?
I think I
don't
know. Go.
I think I'm going with. I think there is a clear pick actually. I think about it, and I think it's Tyrion. I think I'm going half man.
Okay.
I drink and I know things was
Yeah.
the deal breaker for me, the deal sealer I should say. We sold those shirts. We made $1 billion off those before HBO C&D'd us instantly, and we still made a boatload off that. I think he is. I mean, Dinklage has actually a handful of like iconic roles, but just became a fucking megastar. And I feel like the wit and the way it was written and his arc of like being, you know, going from just like the trashy drunk, you know,
Midget.
I fuck
Yeah.
whores and all that shit, to being like actually the kind of like the moral compass at times. And I think he had the most. He went from the Lannisters to the Targaryens, and then mixed it up with Jon Snow. Like he touched all of it back when it was really good.
He
And
was
the
a
fact-
man of truth.
Yeah, and watching him interact with, like, I mean, the fact that it's, well, you know, other characters on the show that, like, you know, his wit with all of his
Yeah.
family, all of it. I think he is the one guy I think that is the most quotable, the most memorable, and the most like enjoyable.
I agree.
I think there's
so, too.
more. I think there's a lot of like lesser characters on Game of Thrones that you can really like, and I might even end up drafting another one at the end where it's just like limited scenes, was only in a couple episodes, but was really memorable and shit.
Yeah.
But as far as the top dogs, I think it's him.
He was one of those guys too. You always were watching. You weren't looking at your phone when there was a Tyrion
Oh, yeah.
scene. You were
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
paying attention.
The
Other
imp, the
people, you know
half
what I mean?
man.
You're
Oh.
just kind of. He was great.
His
It
monologue
just
when he
makes
was
me
getting
long. I mean, 1 through 4 was fucking
Unbelievable.
unbelievable, unreal.
So good.
See,
That was
And
like
of course it bombed. Like we went off the book.
Yeah.
I actually feel bad for the brothers who fucked up, and they fucked up, or not the brothers, but Lindelof and the other guy. They fucked up
Yeah,
Star
they lost
Wars
Star
too.
Wars, yeah.
But like, if it was me and people were trashing me, I would have been like, the dude who wrote the book didn't give us any more book. Like, you're telling me to finish a story I didn't write.
They adapt screenplays.
Yeah,
like they
like
don't
that-
write
there's
it
no
from
screenplay to
scratch.
adapt,
Right.
you know?
Yeah. Right.
But I mean, even they bombed, even, you know, considering
Yeah.
that. But I think.
how do you think House of the Dragon's gonna be? That comes out in August, I think. I want to say.
Yeah, you know what? They fucked Lord of the Rings so hard. It comes out like 2 weeks before Lord of the Rings, and I think it's
And
gonna
it's the same
dominate.
thing.
Well, you know what? It's like kind of the same thing, but Lord of the Rings doesn't do like sex and violence,
Right.
Which is what Thrones does to the max.
So it makes it better.
And yes, and I think that it's gonna, you know, 2 or 3 weeks in, people will be buzzing about Thrones, and they'll like maybe give Lord of the Rings a chance.
I like
think it's
that.
gonna be good. I mean, I'll definitely give it a chance.
Yeah,
you know?
definitely for sure.
And if they,
But this is based off books, right?
yeah.
Yeah, so we
it's back
should-
to the George R. R. Martin
Right,
shit,
right.
and it's heavy dragons. It's like back when dragons were ruling the
It's
world.
all in
and not-
Targaryens, yeah.
Yeah, so I think, and that was a trailer that you know, like men aren't. Men,
I just watched it a
men
couple
aren't
days ago.
remembered by
Yeah.
like bloodlines. They're remembered by dragons or whatever the fuck it is. It was like, oh yeah, but we'll see.
Good pick,
Yep.
Chief.
I'm taking Ari Gold. I feel like that's
That
like
was-
an all-time
That was
character.
my other.
Yeah.
If it wasn't Tyrion, it was gonna be Ari.
I feel like that show gets a little bit of the Nickelback treatment on the internet now. Like it hasn't aged well, but that character to me still ages. I watched like this morning, like a best of Ari Gold, and it's just like that. He
Talking
was
about
a-
quotes.
quotes,
Quote machine.
electric character, and also kind of a guy who, like in season 1, they started making him kind of like a scumbag. Like he had lines about like, "Oh, guess who I'm fucking tonight," and it was like someone's like, "Oh, Mrs. Gold," and then they kind of pivoted him to be like this
Family man
asshole
almost, like, trying
who
to make
is
it work.
oriented towards his family
Yeah.
still.
Like the therapy scenes with him and
All
like,
time.
when he's on the
Yeah,
phone and
yeah.
like, you know, unbelievable.
Wife number 1,
That
therapist number 7. Fuck you, I'm out of here.
That
Yeah.
therapist is
Yeah.
from Wheaton.
Is she really?
Yeah.
That's
So
funny.
one of my other Kishes, one of my other deans, not Kish. That's his sister.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, no, I think that's there's a few characters that from that show that can be drafted, but he is. The other ones all are like they split the vote, you know.
Yeah.
They're from
yeah.
the crew. It's like
Yeah.
oh, he's the funny one, he's the this one, he's that one, and Ari stands out.
He's the runaway.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think that's a good pick, Chief.
Yeah, I feel good about my first 2 here. And then, you know, I wanted Russ Cole. I mean, I think everybody did, but I knew I wouldn't get him. I think him and Martin Hart are like the perfect, you know, they kind of complement each other well. I think he's an awesome character too, and that really moves the story forward, and how they kind of balance each other out. I love that show. I think that's like the best one singular season of television. And even though
I'd agree.
he's a clear number 2, that's like Pippin to Jordan. Like Pippin still.
See,
like an
I don't
all-time
think so.
great.
I think
So is that your pick?
Yeah,
Okay.
take it Martin Hart.
I think a lot of
I
it.
love that
had-
you call him Martin.
yeah,
Marty
Marty.
Hart. Marty
It's
Hart.
Marty.
I did
Yeah.
think about it for a second. I'm like,
Martin Hart, yeah.
Marty Hart.
You are
Detective-
you are the
Detective
Michael
Hart.
Jordan of being an asshole. Is my favorite.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like not
Yeah.
even clever, but it's just.
Yeah.
Now he was a perfect foil. Like,
Yeah, they-
like
the
the
yin and
exasperated,
yang.
because that
Yeah.
was, I felt like Woody Harrelson, like
Yep.
almost just the way he is, where he's like, you gotta be fucking, we're doing what? We're like,
Yeah.
you know, like, what's the plan here? Are you fucking crazy?
I don't want to do this shit.
Yeah,
but I have
and
to.
That,
yeah.
and the scene, it's him talking about you never mow another man's lawn, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
awesome scenes.
So he's got a lot of great. Yeah, I feel like he's kind of maybe in a way like a more relatable character, or like a more human character than Russ Cole, who's like a freak.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, Marty was just like a cop who,
Yeah.
you know, wants to do right and
But struggles with
he was
it,
always
right.
glass half full. That's why
They
they
worked,
were
yeah.
so
Yeah.
perfect together.
And
Yeah.
he's kind of like
Yeah.
very realistic.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
let's
Russ
make
is
the
very
car a place
theoretical
of
and
silent
he's-
reflection.
Yeah.
Like, and if you've been on
Those
road
car scenes are like some of the best scenes in the
yeah,
show.
yeah.
When they're just like riffing off each other.
Yep. God, that show, man.
Yeah,
The
I mean, he
the
was
double
great.
timelines is so fucking
Yeah,
good. It's just
it's awesome.
Great show.
Yeah.
And then it all comes together at the end.
Yep.
It's fucking perfect.
I know
man.
it's not about this is Matthew McConaughey's character, the way that guy can drink a beer. There's just something about him sitting in the conference room when they bring in like the 6-pack and he
Yep.
just like
I
cracks it.
can't-
It,
yeah.
it is so
the Lone
natural
Star
and
beer. I
perfect.
bet you that's what's called, right? Lone Star.
yep.
That's
I
a
bet
real
you that
beer.
had a big time boost.
You
Oh,
can
yeah.
get that at
Huge,
Richards,
right?
right?
You can get it anywhere.
Anywhere.
It's pretty common. Yeah, I
Yeah.
bet you
Yeah.
they were like, fuck yes.
Maybe not a bar, but like a liquor store.
Yeah.
Yeah,
store
it's a
that sells
very
beer,
it's a
you'll be
very
able to buy
common.
it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Marty Hart off the board. Back to you, KFC.
I'm gonna go with a. Oh man, this is tough.
It is getting tough.
I'm now getting into the spot of like, do you take big names from shows or maybe a lesser name from some of the shows we've
Kevin,
already
go
mentioned?
with your heart.
See, that happens too.
Go with your heart.
Yeah.
Were you gonna
I'm
give
gonna go
some-
new age. I'm gonna go with what I believe to be a new classic, and I'm gonna go with Logan Roy.
Oh,
I
okay.
think there are this is a I think there are other characters on that show that I just quote unquote like better.
Yeah.
But as far as
This
who
is like
drives
this
the
is like
show-
the same argument as Tony Soprano.
yeah. He's
Yeah.
the Tony
Yeah.
of Succession.
Yeah.
And, and I think when it's all said and done, some people are already like Succession is the best show, TV
That's
show of
crazy
all time.
to me.
Crazy.
It
Crazy.
really is.
But I think it's the best new show in
I
a
don't-
long time.
I don't think the last season was that great.
Oh, I liked the last.
Yeah, I
Did
didn't
you?
have
And
I
I
didn't
know-
have a
Yeah.
problem with it as much as like I thought the first one was.
But
Yeah.
it's become like
It's a
sacrilegious.
phenomenon.
Like people will fucking murder you. Like people are gonna kill me for saying that.
I don't get that. Like after first of all, no show can after I guess maybe True Detective, but like one season, and especially if you know there's more seasons, you can't crown it yet.
Right. You didn't
but-
like that ending?
The ending was great,
Okay,
but the rest of
all
the
right.
season, I know it was partly due to COVID, was all just like in a boardroom. Like if you added up a lot of time,
They're just sitting in that room.
it was like
Yeah.
88%
Yeah.
in that room.
That is a that's
or
a
at
show
the conference.
too. As I'm thinking about those conferences, there's so many people in the show. Yeah,
Yeah.
like there's so many to pick.
So
but I
many.
do just think like I want on my board. I want Succession represented, and it's got to be Logan. I mean, like Boar on the floor and
you
some of the
think so?
asshole fucking
Yeah.
ref,
on the
like,
floor.
I mean, he is a motherfucker.
Yeah. And how it ended.
Yeah,
Like
I mean-
how like that to me like that elevates that character up. Like he's just
I also
so
think it's
cutthroat.
like phenomenal acting the way he's like
Yeah.
losing his mind and getting old and the power struggle.
How many
and all
seasons
that.
have there been?
3.
I mean, the guy pissed on the carpet in like the first 5 minutes of the series. And
Yeah.
now he's like still fucking going
Still
strong.
going,
It's crazy.
yeah.
Wait, I feel like you don't like this pick. I feel like you
No,
don't like Logan Roy.
I do. I just love someone else in that show a lot more. But you acknowledge that there might be a better character.
That is the thing.
You acknowledged it.
Yeah.
But like you're just taking.
There's like 3. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I think there's a lot of
Yes.
people I could take.
Honorable mention's gonna be great today.
Yes,
Yeah.
there's a
Yeah,
ton.
yeah.
That hurts me. Like I don't, I'd rather have some heavy hitters than some of the bit characters.
Yeah.
So
Plays a great fucking. I mean, just a rich guy who just does not give a.
did
fuck.
you
Yeah.
guys see the clip of Frank the Tank like a week or two ago? He sounded exactly like Logan Roy.
Oh,
He was
no.
yelling about the Mets. Our guy Kyle, he walks on the treadmill once a week when the Mets play, and his record is like not so good when he walks on the treadmill. And the Mets are losing, and he just turns to the camera and he goes, "Kyle, get the fuck off the treadmill!" And it sounded exactly like him. It was like Frank transformed into Logan Roy all of a sudden.
I
It was
gotta
great.
watch that.
Yeah, I gotta find that too. But Logan Roy's "fuck off" is
Yeah.
like an all-time.
And then especially when you you couple it with a real life actor, if you've seen like some of his interviews and shit,
Yeah.
he Brian Cox is like, or is that Brian Cox?
Yeah. Yep.
He's like, you know, a delight. And,
Yeah.
and so I saw some interview where I think they made him say that, like they're
Yeah.
like, "Give us your patented fuck off," and he just like snaps into
Yeah.
character. So I'll take him.
There he is, Logan Roy. And I do like the show. I just didn't like the last season that much. Don't fucking.
And
kill
I
me.
also like. It's not crazy to say it's not the best show of all time.
There's a
I think
lot.
it's crazier to say that it is.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
yeah,
It's happening though. Have you seen that?
Oh, it's definitely
yeah.
happening.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
happening.
That is like a pandemic / social media / like
Lemmings. We
I'm
call
gonna
them
look at-
lemmings
yeah,
in
I'm
this
gonna look
home.
what the internet's saying,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
but it is the most quotable and the most internet like of all. So
Yeah.
that drives a lot of it.
Carl, you're up.
So this is where I'm a little caught here because I know, I'm like looking at Ed's board. I'm trying to figure out your next play here. I'm trying to think ahead.
Oh, I don't even write down your guys' picks. I don't even know who's on the board, who's not.
That's quite the memory then. If you're able to just be like, oh, he took
Well,
that
there's
a
so
half
many
hour
fucking
ago.
Characters,
Yeah.
so, you know.
All right, I'm gonna go. I wish I could hold off on this guy till like the 5th round because I think it really would be a great way to round it out. So I'm going to. I'm going to leave him. I'm going to. I'm sorry. This is probably.
Isn't it funny the need to talk through it and let people know I have another pick in my mind,
yeah,
but I'm
yeah,
gonna, you know, it's
yeah.
like I
I
just
mean,
want you to know that I
it's
really like. I do have a good pick right now, but I'm struggling.
It's not easy to come up with these picks,
No,
man. I got a
no,
lot of, you know.
no.
So, and there are people it's judgmental. You know, you
Yeah.
want to make
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
Hey, I'm
I commend you
thinking
guys.
through this.
These are obviously the most debated things on the internet, and you just have to go into the fire every fucking week.
I had to
yeah.
yell at a guy last night.
Why?
Some guy yelled at me for yesterday's snake draft for not drafting something, and I just snapped on him.
I mean, it's just like, yeah, I know that's your favorite thing, and I didn't pick it, but like, guess
Yeah.
what? I picked someone else's favorite thing. It's how this fucking
Yeah.
thing works, guys.
Yep.
I'm gonna. This is a reach. This is by far the biggest reach. This is a side character. I'm taking Sandor Clegane.
Yep.
Sandor
I love
Clegane,
him.
just a fucking badass. Every time in the arc he takes, and then when he and Arya partner up, and you know, fighting for like good and
The hound is
justice
on
at
my
the
way.
end.
Fuck off, you fucking cunt.
And when they got the fucking guys hanging, remember he like executes all those
He's
guys.
like, just one hand.
It's
See, that's
awesome.
why I thought your Arya pick was weird, because I thought those two
They're so
are
perfect
are
together.
like yes, they are, and they're the memorable like duo for such a long time. But I think the better character in that is the Hound.
Yeah. Clegane's just.
Good move because he was being considered by me. So
All right, that's what I was sizing.
That
things
was
up.
on my. I didn't want to go Thrones back to back, but he was next up for me.
He's got
on,
so many
on
good
Thrones
one-liners
for
too
sure.
that are just laugh out loud funny.
And I get to move like my number 2, number 3 starting pitcher to the 5th spot in the rotation now, and I feel very good about that. Ed.
everybody loves a curmudgeon who, like, you know,
Yeah.
shines bright at the end. Right?
And he also had like the moral compass.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. He was
Definitely.
just a fucking.
I'm not going to pass
Fuck
on the
the king.
opportunity to shit on his fight with the Mountain though at the end. I mean, come
Oh
on,
my
guys. We built up to that for so
Yeah.
long.
Yeah.
That
I mean,
was
not like
awful.
a fiery staircase.
what do we call it?
Give me
The
an open
Clegane Bowl.
field.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
such a one of the most highly anticipated things. And I remember being like, "Are we getting it this week? Is it next week?" Like there was a couple
Oh, yeah.
episodes where
Yep.
it could have been, and then we finally knew it was coming, and it was just
And
like
then
everything else.
I don't even know what that guy was, but the queen's little servant dude, the little fucking scrawny old guy, and he
The-
just fucking smashes his head into the wall right
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
What was that?
Oh, the
Maester. The
Maester.
Maester.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Maester.
Yeah.
Was he? It wasn't the Maester, was it?
Yeah, I thought it was.
Was he the?
the High Sparrow? No, he was already.
No, he was gone already.
Man, that High Sparrow storyline really sucked the life out of me.
Oh, I liked
guy.
that
He was a
storyline.
bad. He was a
Yeah.
You're
bad
just looking
villain,
at
though.
what was the young Tommen or Tim? What was the kid's
Tommen.
name?
Tommen, yeah.
Yeah.
What the fuck's that kid's problem?
He was just a pussy.
You know, show me a 10, I'll show you a room full of guys that are sick of fucking her. I mean, the guy's just so pussy whipped right away. It was like I don't know.
Can I get you some pigeon pie?
It's a good pick.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, we just fucked. I don't want your pigeon pie.
Thanks, Ed.
All
Loser.
right, it's to me. Hey, before I make this pick, I do want to talk about the exclusive ticketing partner of Barstool Sports, and that is the Game Time app, okay? Game Time is a ticketing app that makes it easier than ever to score last-minute deals on tickets to sports, concerts, and shows, and they guarantee the lowest price. They crack the code on how to score last-minute deals on last-minute tickets. The biggest last-minute price drops can be found on the seats you thought you could never buy. That's right. Make sure you're checking out the whole stadium. They got the whole view. You can just hop right on the app. Very easy. I did it the other week. Went to a Cubs game. I used Game Time, and it was last minute. I was like, hey, you know what? I want to go. I want to take the Edison bus. I want to go to Wrigley Field. And that's exactly what I did. And it was easy. It was seamless. It was convenient. So whether you're spontaneously buying tickets to the concert you've been eyeing or planning ahead for the NFL season, Game Time is the best ticketing app, making your live event experience seamless and affordable. The best part is you get $20 off your first purchase. Download the Game Time app, go to the account tab to create a login, and then redeem code DOGWALK for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Download Game Time, last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. All right. I got to do a KFC. I'm sorry, but I got to go Roman.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's another considered.
He just, I don't know. He
Yeah.
makes that show move, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I agree.
He is just, every single piece of dialogue that he delivers is like,
Yep.
something about it. He is unreal.
Well, I mean, I guess it's a bigger debate about like there's no succession without Logan Roy, but within that world, Roman is like, it's,
Yeah.
again, it's what's your criteria? Is it like the funniest lines, the most memorable lines, the best scenes, like
Yeah.
that? Then
Well,
it's Roman.
Then
it's
I think Roman's the only one that touches them all.
Probably,
because
yeah.
he's like you could argue that he's like one of the funniest characters, but he also like is in this arc of like trying to become like a real boy kind of.
yeah. Also, just like
Yeah.
weird shit going on.
Super weird. Yeah.
comes at
I don't think either of them are the most memorable character either. Like the most. I think there's another.
Neither one of them
character
are my
that's-
favorite. I have two others that I think on my list that I think I like better than them.
Yeah, and,
Yeah.
and I think if you're talking about like people just off the rip, like most like what name from the show like jumps out at you, I think there's even a couple,
Yeah,
two
'cause-
more.
Yeah.
Because there's just, I mean, it's just that's where people do lose their shit over their show.
That's why it's the best show of all time.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I think Roman Roy is just like every delivery of his
Yep.
he is just awesome. So
I'm gonna be mad if that is
what, the
like
differential?
if somehow it's down to me and you. That's gonna bother me if that's like what puts you over the top, because I still think Logan is the more important character.
Yeah,
If you
Yeah, I
he's
get
the
it.
hub in the wheel.
Yeah.
yeah,
I get that argument.
yeah. Roman Roy is the runaway best child of that whole group. Like he's in terms of characters. Like the other two children, I'm like, get these people.
Some
off
of his
my-
lines, man.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
and when
we
the
should watch
fucking-
that. If you're not watching that show, that's a mistake.
Have you seen it?
I watched the first two episodes, and the reason I turned it off, the camera just kept moving. It just was like I was nauseous.
It is
just
you're in
kept,
a
like,
war room with them. 'Cause
Yeah,
there's
it
like
like
drama
moves
going on. I
around
can
very
see that.
quickly, and I was just like,
The
not in a good.
without spoilers, when his like project that he's working on explodes, blows up. It is, when he's just like he just closes the.
yeah.
Okay, it's like if it's like Billy Madison comes to
Yes,
life. in a
really
way.
is.
He's
Yeah.
like a
That's a
real
good
life Billy Madison with like trillions of dollars on the line. And I've heard that that's kind of like how those
it
families
is, yeah.
operate. Like the
Oh,
Murdochs
really?
and shit like
Yeah.
that are kind of, maybe not specifically, but there's a lot of dumb children with a lot of money just fucking around.
Like he's out of it. I mean, comes on Windows, getting dominated by the fucking by the woman who in the company. He's just a wild guy. White Sox, Dave.
I'm going very new school. I'm going with Rue Bennett.
Okay.
I don't even know if any of you guys have even watched that
I
show.
don't know what you're talking about.
Hysteria.
Yeah,
Euphoria,
No,
yeah.
I haven't.
I think I think Zendaya is incredible.
You want to talk about a show that's going to be,
Unfucking
I'm not going to say the
believable,
best. Euphoria will end up being the biggest TV show of all time.
Agreed.
I
Like,
think so,
almost
too.
already is.
I agree with
With
you,
the
yeah.
viewership and stuff.
Uh-huh.
They went up against the Super Bowl and did like 10 million viewers against the fucking
That's insane.
Super Bowl.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
They did more. They did. I did a 1 Minute Man on it at one point. The social mentions are like already the most of all time for like shows
That's
that
shocking.
you've been around for 20 fucking years. You're talking about The Sopranos. Already more talked about. Already more viewers. Fastest growing. Like every box, check it. That's crazy. But that's also because Gen Z.
Yeah.
They love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, of
And
course.
they're
It's
living,
them.
they're
It's
streaming
them,
it and
yeah.
they watch it, and
Yeah.
I mean, you're looking at like a what's crazy is you're like a 14-year-old girl's watching it because it's like the most fucked up show in the world.
So-
But something like that, it's like I don't care about the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I fucking care about this.
See,
you know?
I'm surprised to hear that about the social mentions because I remember I got into Thrones late.
So
So
did
I think
I.
I started watching Thrones live in like season 4. But I remember the first 3 seasons like being on Twitter and feeling left out.
That's exactly why I
So-
started
but
it.
I
yeah.
don't feel that way about
because
Euphoria.
You're not
being I'm too
following.
old.
Your
Yeah.
timeline's not filled with teenagers.
Yeah.
I hope.
And it's still like they still got ways to go.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, only
Yeah.
two
Like, they'll get
seasons.
there.
Rue Zendaya,
Yeah.
is like unreal.
She-
her
Yeah.
acting is fucked.
Dude,
she's a drug
the-
addict. She's a depressed kid. She's
It's
a sexually
unbelievable
confused girl.
how good
It
she is in that
she's doing
show.
it all.
But see,
It's
is that to
unbelievable.
me? Now I want to see what you think. Awesome. She's like that one season where that episode where she wrecked the house was honestly some of the best,
Best acting.
acting.
when
never
she's
seen-
like getting
yeah.
their face in it, it's
Some of the best acting.
it's not acting. I
ever.
feel like she's really
No.
doing that. She's
Yeah.
like really, but
She,
she
like,
is acting
becomes
out
that
of it. Yeah.
character.
But the character in general, I don't think is that great.
Oh my god,
I
dude!
don't.
When
No,
she's with
well,
the
it's almost like
sponsor?
are you going inside the TV show or are you going to be like a viewer of it? Because it's like if you're respecting the craft and the performance
Correct.
and all that, she might be the fucking number 1 pick overall. With what she's doing.
that's-
but it's just like as
exactly.
far as what do you like, what character do you? Also, you know, we're 30-year-old
This is
guys.
the same
It's
argument
not
I
the
just
same
had
as-
for Tony
Yeah.
Soprano.
We're not really the target. You know?
But no, how many times is like
I think
does
we
she
are,
just
though.
sit there stone on the bed and like it
True.
got to a point where it's like all right, like
we get it.
You
Yeah,
do
yeah.
drugs. Like
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
a drug
yeah,
issue
for
like,
sure.
and they've done it for 3 seasons.
I can understand that.
And then we're gonna go to a diner
Well,
with the spot.
in defense of that, though, you know, the drug addict from season 1 is not going to just like not be doing drugs the next 2 seasons.
Sure, yes.
But it is not the most captivating every time she's like too high or about to pass out or
like
whatever.
it went from drugs, her relationship with I forget her name,
The girl,
and then
yeah.
it went back to drugs. It's like okay, we're doing this again. I
Yeah.
just the character I got pretty bored of this season. But
The one thing from the
Phenomenal.
But again,
acting.
you know, like there, you know, that's like kind of my Logan Roy thing is like there are.
she makes a tick. I guess.
exactly,
But I
this-
guess not.
Tony
I-
Soprano.
there are
That's
just
the exact
separate
same
stories.
argument for like Tony Soprano.
Yeah.
Like
It's
she
hard.
is the show.
I think that will kind of be the big debate about this draft is whether you have to pick like the main characters or bit characters.
Yeah.
Well, I'm shifting hardcore here
Okay, what do we
for
got?
my next pick.
Oh God, you're doing it. You're gonna do something stupid, aren't you?
I know what he's
I'm not doing something stupid. I'm doing something genius. I'm going with the greatest ancillary character in television history. I'm going with Stevie Janowski.
Oh, okay. The way
And
he
if
looked
you
at me
try to
was-
fucking downplay this pick on Twitter or in this room, I will fucking have some
Words on the
strong
internet
words
with
for you. Yes. I'll call you a fucking idiot. Stevie Janowski is unbelievably funny. Just his like weird little fucking he's like, these are the only clothes I got, and then the next scene he's walking around shirtless because he's just bends the knee to Kenny Powers that much. I love Stevie Janowski. He's the perfect sidekick. I wish I had a Stevie Janowski in my life.
You are Stevie Janowski, bro.
I'm not Stevie
It's like
Janowski.
Rounders. If you know you can't spot the mark, you are one. If you want a Stevie Janowski, you don't have a Stevie Janowski in your life. It's because you're
Stevie
Janowski.
Janowski, like, am I an argument guy, Ed?
Yes, you are.
Stevie Janowski's not. Stevie Janowski does as told. If I
As
both can't
Danny
be
walks
true.
by, as Danny walks by.
He's more like Stevie Janowski than anybody. But Stevie Janowski, Chief, I know you're a Stevie Janowski.
I love Stevie Janowski. Yeah, I think it.
Who the fuck are you, huh? Who the fuck are you?
Yeah, like the attempt to morph himself into Kenny Powers, like throughout the, you know, like
He's a band teacher.
yeah.
Have some respect for Coach Powers.
Yeah, so I think he's a great character. It's like I'm struggling. Like I can picture his face. I can like sort of remember lines, but I'm not going to try because I'm going to be just a little bit off. But he's a great bit character.
That's exactly what he's.
Yeah.
He's a dog shit, trashy bit character in a dog shit, trashy show that just so happened to be perfectly put together that it's like still talked about 10 years later.
Yeah,
All right. I thought you were going to do something much more like devious. The way you looked at me. and,
Yeah.
like,
I thought it was gonna be like a pick
Just
that
because
everybody
Stevie
hates.
Janowski's
Yeah.
legit.
We already talked about.
I
Stevie
thought.
Polar opposite
You know
of-
what? Here's
of
what
Lou
it,
Bennett.
I'm going to do. What I thought you were going to do.
Go ahead.
Okay. It's HBO, like we said about violence and tits. Some of the two pairs of
Wow.
the greatest boobs have ever graced
So you're gonna do it?
our
I would-
television on HBO, and one, it's
You got to be able to
I know one
Do
you
you
don't
even
know.
know
You
her
can't even tell me the character's name.
Yeah,
I
no one
know.
knows her character.
So that's why I'm going to go with the modern one of the one you know her name. And I'm going with Cassie Howard from
Okay.
Euphoria.
Okay.
And I know.
But I do. First of all, I like this move to it's outside the box.
Yes.
But it is the second best pair of tits.
I know, but at the
But-
same time, you don't even know her name.
Right.
Nobody
you're right.
does.
Nobody knows her name, but don't get me wrong. Her tits are awesome.
I know her name in real life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everyone knows
Yeah.
her name in
That's-
real life.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like HBO,
I do like
it's
that.
violence, it's boobs. You need to get that on the board. It's a horny pick.
Mm-hmm.
I'll own it.
Cassie
I'm fine
Howard's
with it.
tits are so perfect that her own grandparents commented and said she's got the best tits in Hollywood.
Which is
Yes.
fucking weird. By
that
the way.
is weird, but I mean, they're not
If
wrong.
Pop's telling you got a set of tits on you, weird.
It is weird. It is weird.
Maddie versus
But they're
Cassie
not
is going to
wrong.
be an all-time like for the younger kids who are watching Euphoria. That's going to be
You're
know,
watching
like the
MJ
big-
in their
You will.
prime.
Yeah,
Those
I mean,
tits are just immaculate.
You know what, guys?
It's
Maybe
like the
I'll give
Holy Grail
Euphoria a
tits.
chance.
I mean, it's.
That good?
Euphoria.
You would
I
love it.
can't watch
It's
Euphoria.
right-
I mean, I don't know if it's a parent thing. I'm like, it gives me anxiety.
Does
like,
it?
If this is what the real world is like,
Kevin?
we're homeschooling, bro.
I could see that.
I swear to God,
It's crazy.
I have never seen a hard drug in my life. It's like that now. And this
It's
is
like
obviously,
we were
very,
drinking,
very
smoking
embellished.
weed, and like that was it.
Yeah.
You know, like a couple kids got into like ecstasy a little bit.
couple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now it's like
It's
ketamine
getting,
and H
dude,
and
opioids
fentanyl
are,
and, it's
they're
like,
How do you know
everywhere
about
now.
that, though?
I
In
had
high
when I was
school?
with the
coaching
kids?
when I was
Yeah.
coaching baseball, kids 5-6 years younger than me at the time, not that much younger than me. They were going to funerals like every other week. Like I would have to cancel tournaments and shit because multiple kids from whatever high school had to go to a funeral for OD on heroin. Opioids are
Yeah.
not; they're everywhere now. It's
I'm
fucked
not
up. It's an
denying.
epidemic.
I'm just saying at the high school level. That,
It's really bad now.
do you think Cassie's better pick than Rue, Kevin?
I do.
No fucking way.
Well, I think it's the most creative pick of the draft. That's why.
Okay.
I think we're all
Because
thinking
he's
about
picking
which
her
guy
tits.
do we like, who's the big hero of every show or the best.
That
villain,
doesn't make her
whatever.
the best character. She's the hottest character.
I think.
maybe.
And
Was
she's
that your
good-
fourth pick?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
she's
what
a
I'm
good
saying.
character.
For a late round, like I'm gonna try to get value in a different
So-
way. I think that's smart. It's like drafting a kicker.
And she's a good actress too.
Yeah,
like,
she is.
She is a
Yeah.
good character.
Yeah.
Like that.
Has she
I
been in
really
anything
think
else?
so. Like that bathroom
Yeah, she's
scene.
been in a bunch of shit recently. She was in White Lotus, which is an HBO show that's
It's bad.
and then she's been in. I think she was in a movie like a
Amazon movie, like The Voyeur or something.
Yeah,
Okay.
something like that.
But
Which
she,
that was a cool movie. It was like bad, but it was interesting.
Yeah, it was
fun.
alright.
It was like entertaining.
yeah. But her in that bathroom scene when she was in the bathtub, she awesome. Like
Yeah.
she acted the
Dude,
shit out of that.
She's a great actress,
make,
too.
She's great.
Maddie like Jaws. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Like she's
yeah.
gonna come and fucking murder you.
Yes, exactly.
I haven't seen it. I just know that she's dating a guy from Chicago,
Yeah.
like a regular guy.
yeah,
who
he's
owns a
just some
restaurant.
like
Yeah.
bum from
Good for
Chicago.
I mean, he's
Fuck
definitely
yeah,
not a
yeah.
bum. He's
Yeah.
the son of a guy. I mean, they own. They're
I'm sure.
big, it's
Yeah.
like a restaurant.
I
Family.
wrote the blood.
Yeah.
They
down.
own
he's like
one
a reg-
restaurant, I think.
Yeah.
No, it's not. Listen, trust me. I got a lot of pushback from the Taylor Street faithful about after I wrote that blog. So it's like a restaurant, Little Italy. Like his family owns it. He's got nothing to do with it,
Yeah.
from what I understand.
So yeah, he's just some schmo.
but he is
though.
from Chicago, so good for
Yeah.
him.
Yes.
Proud of him.
There's a family.
Yeah. Carl, you're up.
So I haven't seen Euphoria, and it sounds
Watch
like
it.
obviously, yeah, it sounds like it's a great show. You say it's a good pick for Ed for the strategy purpose because we're introducing like, well, it's a great set of tits, and that's good reason, but it will stand right next to Zendaya on the graphic. And as people are making this decision, you're going to split the Euphoria vote.
I mean, Zendaya. She's
yeah, you guys think
25
about
years
this shit
old and
deeper
she
than I
already
do.
goes by one name.
We've got
I just think if you're gonna like put together, okay, these guys had 5 great badasses. This guy had 5. Oh,
But you
and he's got
used
the
that
tits in
argument
him.
against me when I said that I like Tony Soprano clear cut 1-1. I didn't like him that much, and I mean, obviously I love Tony Soprano, but
I
like-
respect your logic. It's okay.
but you're using the same logic against me.
Well, we're in the 4th round now.
Yeah, I do think there's a difference of
little
being like
different.
rather than getting a second-rate hero, leader, badass,
I went
villain,
with
whatever,
Stevie
he went with the
Janowski.
best tits.
yeah.
Stevie Janowski, he's just a dumb fucking idiot.
But I think there's other like
doesn't know how to act
I
well.
think like there are funnier kind of Stevies out there on HBO.
All right, you guys got to stop arguing. I was just teeing up the pick because I'm saying
sorry.
we've got splits. Like we've got Secessions represented. A lot of these shows are multi-represented. So I'm going to go to a show that I do not think anybody else will represent. I'm going to take Peacemaker. I'm going to actually just take Peacemaker. If you guys haven't seen it, it's fucking awesome. John
No, I never
Cena
had.
murders it. It's a completely different type of superhero show. People like The Boys because it shows like the dark, gruesome, and The Boys is a fucked up show on Amazon Prime, which I very much recommend. Recommend. Peacemaker is like, it's like kind of like Deadpool, where
Yeah.
it's just intentionally trying to
It's
be funny.
funny.
But they're not
It's-
just relying on Ryan Reynolds and his
No.
like monologue. It's actually very funny, like the relationship between these ridiculous superheroes and then the people that like help support them on a day-to-day basis. And they picked like just an absurd superhero that doesn't blend in at all. It's not like.
And his father too. The Peacemaker and his father like relation is fucking hilarious.
So if you want to take him,
I
that's
forgot
all
that
good
was
pick
HBO.
too.
That is Peacemaker is a great watch.
Yes.
It's like a superhero version. I'm not gonna mention it, but there's a different, like it's just a good show that like is enjoyable.
And James Gunn's behind it. That guy doesn't miss on stuff. That's the guy behind Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes, right. So you're getting like a real actual superhero
Yes.
type writer, whatever.
No, you guys absolutely haven't seen it.
No, I haven't. I've never been a big superhero guy. Like I know what Deadpool is. I've never like you made that reference. I'm like, well,
Fucking nerds, right?
no, it's just
No,
like
but
it's just never,
this would be like middle ground where like obviously they're superheroes, but like a quick funny example, like they're just talking about something like, well, whatever happened to Batman? And he turns around, he's like, fuck Batman.
Yeah,
Batman's a
yeah.
fucking bitch.
Okay.
Yeah, Batman
Yeah.
doesn't even fucking kill people because he's like
Yeah, he's
murdering.
like, I
he's killing
fucking
people.
kill people,
Okay.
dude.
It's a good
such a
humorous take.
bro.
This is
like-
brand new too.
Brand new. It's got
Okay.
one season
season.
under its belt, but
It's
like
it's the
he's
same.
such
Did
a
you
good
see
character.
Suicide Squad? Well, probably not if you don't watch.
No.
But that was a movie of like it's misfit. It's like misfit.
Okay.
Heroes, you know.
Yeah.
It was the one, not the newest one,
do
the
you-
second to newest one.
Yeah, but you got some smirk on your face. like-
No.
Yeah, they
Why'd you pick?
remade Suicide Squad
What'd you
because the
pick? Or
first
he
one
picked-
was
he
so
took Peacemaker.
bad.
It was
So then
the
they-
worst
yeah.
movie I've.
Suicide Squad?
Well, they remade it. The second
the
one's
second one's
awesome.
Yeah,
funny.
the
second
first
one's
one
very good.
with like
Second
Will
one with-
Smith and what's her
yeah,
face.
The new one that
Oh.
came out relatively recently with John Cena and all those guys was very funny.
Harley Quinn did.
And Harley
I know what
Quinn's
I
in it,
don't
yeah.
like is, and I used to do this too, admittedly, with Game of Thrones. I was like, Dungeons and Dragons is not for me. I turned it into maybe my favorite television show ever. Same thing with superheroes. Like every time I watch
Bro,
a
the
superhero
nerds
movie,
inherited the
I
earth.
love them.
Like the world became, the world got
Yeah.
nerdified. It's all comics and video games and shit like that. It's
Yeah.
like I think the nerds just realized there's like, okay, you know, we're not like jocks, but there's a billion of us
Yeah.
worldwide who all love this shit, and we're gonna make it. You know, every movie, everything is now for them.
I have like a thing in my head. Like at some point this summer, I'm gonna like watch
'em all.
Avengers. Yeah, like,
Yeah.
I've never even seen Avengers.
Oh,
And
they're all
everyone
great.
says
I've
they're so
seen,
good.
like,
I
yeah.
said I was gonna,
All out of
as
order,
much as
a lot
I
of
was
them.
like a nerd growing up, and then I kind of abandoned it. And
They're really funny, too.
We've seen those pictures from high school.
I like I'm gonna go watch them all in order or whatever.
Yeah.
And I never quite did that, but getting into like Endgame, even Guardians, I remember being like, "There's a fucking raccoon,
Dude,
and
Guardians
a tree,"
is
and
such
Bob
a good
Fox was
movie.
like, "Dude, just watch it." And
You can just pick up Guardians too. Like
Yeah.
if that's what I did with a bunch of them,
Yeah.
and they're all great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna try because it's like
Guardians of the Galaxy is just a
yeah.
awesome.
Soundtracks.
And that's
The
it.
soundtrack's
Yeah,
the
that's
best
what
ever,
everyone
maybe.
says.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do that like we're doing with the 30 for 30s. Maybe we'll give everyone some time and then we'll draft it.
Okay.
Finally.
Yeah.
Superhero movies.
Yeah.
I would be honored if you guys want to do that.
I've never seen. I've seen one Star Wars ever, and it was in theaters when I was like 13. I snuck into it. The pod racing one.
Yeah. See, like
You got to go see them
yeah.
back to back.
I know.
With Sue.
I got to start from like. What's the first one?
New Hope.
All right. Off the
All the way
board,
through.
Peacemaker. Kevin, you're up.
this is my fourth.
Yeah.
Thrilled with this value. Maybe the most underrated and one of the funniest TV shows of all time. Going to Veep.
I love
Okay.
Veep.
Where do you think I was going?
I want something my last pick, so I'm happy.
And within that, I'm sticking to my philosophy here because there's a bunch of really funny bit characters, but I'm gonna go Selena Meyer.
Okay.
JLD in one of the greatest Hollywood careers of all time, by the way.
Easy.
To go from Elaine to a show that I didn't really watch but was successful, The New Adventures of Christine or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, it was.
Which was like a
I
successful
never saw it. But it was
sitcom.
on for a while.
Yeah, it
got,
was successful, yeah.
She's had 3 monster successful shows in Seinfeld, that, and then
Yeah.
She's
and
TV
Veep.
royalty for sure.
Yep.
And the daughter of a billionaire. She is
Yep.
and hot and everything. Beat cancer. She's amazing. She's
Kinda
a superhero.
hotter
Her son's
now.
a big
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Veep is I think a lot of people respect Veep and think it's very funny, and I still call it underrated. It is so fucking funny, so witty. The writing is off the charts, and her as just like the dumbest vice president of all time
Yeah.
is her and her sidekick, another character maybe on the board, is like the interactions between those two all time.
It's like he's her own little Stevie Janowski.
Yeah.
You know, like-
it's the Kenny and Stevie of the White House.
And I hate to say it, but I think I like that character better than Stevie Janowski.
yeah, so that's what I'm
Yes.
saying. There are
Yeah, I
other
never saw
there are
it.
other characters
Yeah.
like Stevie. There's like that's a lot of these picks that I wanted to make, but I went with the head honcho.
Yeah.
those characters are all I think better than Stevie. To be honest.
Didn't you guys have him on KFC Radio? That guy?
No,
that we're
we
talking
had.
about?
Oh, we had him on. He was
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
because he's also in Arrested Development.
Yes,
Like, love him.
yeah.
Really a delight.
What's his name?
I can't.
And the
think of
show.
it. Well, we're not saying on the
yeah.
show, but
We had another character from Veep on who was also a bit character in Old
He's-
School, and he was our worst interview ever. Probably through no fault of his own, but I think he was
Okay.
just like, "What the fuck am I doing here?" It was early on, and he was just like, "Yes, no, get me out of here."
Really?
It was like,
that guy,
brutal.
the press secretary.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, wait. Well, no.
We'll come back to it.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah,
honorable
yeah,
mention it. Yeah.
All
Okay,
right, so
I think
Lamar.
that's a great. I love that show, and that's
Veep
also a
is-
show that you can. It's almost like timeless in a way. Like
Yeah.
you can rewatch that show, like pick up
Anytime.
any episode, and they all hit. They're all
It's like
funny.
Seinfeld.
Yeah, and it's like a political Seinfeld, but it doesn't have. It's
I'll
not
start
like,
it.
You should.
I'm her
you would
biggest
like it,
fan.
yeah.
I love her to death. I just never started that show
Bro,
for whatever
watch
reason.
it.
That show is like one of those shows where like you have to try not to laugh because if
You'll
you're
miss the
laughing,
next thing.
yeah,
Yes.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's a great show. I love Veep. To me,
Yeah, you're up.
all right. So I'm going. This is where I chief myself, I think probably, but I'm going with when I think of Thrones, like one of their peaks.
Oh boy.
I'm taking the worst villain of all time, but memorable, is Ramsay Bolton. Ramsay Bolton, the Battle of the Bastards, how he just terrorized
Great pick.
many people, and like the way he went out at the end, I thought was great. But like his whole arc of like he kind of almost popped up out of nowhere, and he was
He did literally pop up out of nowhere in the show.
evil guy, but like was arguably the most captivating character of that entire
I
show.
could have done 1,000 seasons of the Jon Snow versus Ramsay Bolton, their feud or
yeah.
whatever, their blood rivalry.
And so I thought he was spectacular and a great
So-
character.
And admission, the last rewatch I did, I didn't realize why Jon Snow's last name was Snow, and they had the sand for the people in the South, and if you were a bastard, you were just titled after where you came from, basically. So I always thought, because I've seen the whole show start to finish like 4 or 5 times now, that they were brothers because they had the last name Snow
okay.
until he got naturalized or whatever,
Yeah.
or however they put it.
Yeah.
So I thought they were like actually brothers, like in a
No
rivalry.
Well,
or
they're
whatever.
like that's like that hostile brothers theme. Kinda,
Yeah,
but
definitely.
but
And they kind of look like they could be brothers, kind of, sort of.
I don't think
See,
so. but-
Ramsay's an interesting one because
One of the best fucking villains ever, man. I think it's
Yeah.
an outstanding pick this late in the game.
I think I think some of his, this is a Feidelberg thing that creeps into my mind a little bit. Some of it is very like, it's almost like just gore, you know what I mean? He just like chops your dick off and fucking,
Yeah.
But also like if you were really to truly torture someone, that's like kind of the stuff you would do. But
My toes
Yeah,
are curling.
yeah.
But I
I'm
also
just thinking
the way
I
he
think I would have gone
breaks-
with a different villain from Thrones.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, see,
I think
I
there's
think
one other.
I think he's the most like purely
Yes.
evil.
That
one.
yeah.
Yeah.
That
I
I
think
believe is
that-
true. Like there was no redemption. There was no he never had a moment of like
Yeah.
soft weakness, whatever. He was just fucked.
And and you're right about the gore part of it, but he also was like mental warfare on people
Yeah.
too.
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
I
Psychological.
What he
yeah.
did to Reek was just
Yeah, right.
He was trying
And-
to die so bad.
Yeah.
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 How-
he wouldn't give it to
and
him.
I was like,
Yeah.
how the fuck is this guy gonna?
Right.
Yeah. Brutal.
Who gonna
Brutal.
take down
Scary
Ramsay?
pick. Yeah.
Gets
Yeah.
eaten by a couple King Corsos.
Yeah.
All right, Ramsay Bolton.
Um,
How you gonna end?
well,
I don't think that was a chief at all, by the way.
No,
You don't
I
think
think
so?
No. I thought it was solid at least.
still time.
At worst, solid.
Yeah. So I guess like now like
Still time though, yeah.
well, it's my pick again here. So everyone on my board is probably more on like they have levity. They add levity to the show, but they're all bit characters. I'll go with Jonah Ryan. I love Veep.
That was one of the guys I was thinking.
I
Like-
think Jonah
like he
Ryan
is-
on Veep is so funny, and like it is also like his storyline. He starts off as this like guy who like acts like he's a hot shot when he's like some low level and everybody hates him. But he kind of like fails upwards to the point at the end of the show, like he's running for like Congress and like
When-
almost winning, but as an idiot. And
When,
so it's
when
just,
they are when he has to like he ends up like marrying his stepsister
Yeah,
or whatever
but-
that is. It's so fucking good. The I'm looking him up now. It's not even necessarily, I don't know if he gets credit because he's not doing it, but it's all the nicknames that the guys have
Yes.
for him, which
Yeah.
I guess as a character when they call him the cloud botherer because he's always in the clouds, fucking kills me, man. That is that was on my list of like, I think I like that character
Yeah.
better than Selena, but again,
yeah.
there's no
He's-
show without Selena.
he's so
The
funny.
cloud botherer.
Yeah.
Love it.
and he's just like constantly bullied, but never.
With the all-time line, I was eating so much pussy, I was shitting clits.
Yeah.
Just like
I don't know
he's
shit about this
vile,
show,
he's
but I know
vulgar,
that
one,
right?
right?
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
so good.
So
good.
I love Jonah. He's like one of my favorite side characters, I would say. So
All right, Jonah Ryan off the board. Kevin, to you.
It's my last pick.
Yep.
There's so many fucking people left.
Shit ton.
Um,
True Blood, Kevin.
Huh?
True Blood?
No, not a True Blood guy. Although that, if you're gonna watch like vampires and shit like that, that's the show to watch. Over
was the
like
porn
over
one,
like
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
over Eclipse or whatever, that, Twilight and all that shit.
that was a weird time in our culture
Twilight
where there's
stunk.
just vampires like everywhere. Like
You know
South Park made fun
what
of
they say? What really let Twilight catch on is that the author, the woman, never describes Kristen Stewart. So there's no the main
Actual, they
character.
just kinda made it
There's
up.
no like physical description of
So
the
it's
main
me,
character,
Bella or whatever?
which allows like the young girls that are reading it to just instantly insert themselves into it, and that's how she wrote it. So like when you read it, you intentionally picture yourself in it.
That's interesting.
I have a pick that I that deserves for sure to be on this, but is not gonna. The people are not gonna know it, and it's I
Is
think
it
I'm
new?
gonna chief myself. No, it's an old one. I've also got a new one that I think is great. I also could just throw a fucking wire pick out there and try to go for some more points here. But
don't do it.
I'm not gonna.
Good.
I'm not gonna because I haven't watched it and I don't know it, and I don't even know if he would be the right. There's only one person from The Wire right now,
Yeah.
which is crazy. I thought it was gonna be all over the place.
How could you guys only have one person from The Wire?
Yeah, here we go. Right.
Shut up.
I'm gonna do it because I'm like a TV nerd and I like read fucking books about television and characters and people that were like influential and like kind of set the tone for a lot of like the newer shows that people like. Did anybody watch Deadwood?
Oh yeah, it's a good show.
I haven't. I've been told by everyone that I would love it, but I never did.
You probably would.
You
Yeah.
can take
Yeah.
Al.
Yeah.
Al Swearingen, I
Yeah.
think I'm gonna take.
It's a good character,
The-
man.
the-
Dominates the screen.
Dominates. A very anti-hero type of guy. A lot of people say like, your love for Heisenberg and Tony Soprano and those kind of guys are, it was one of the first to do it was him. I know that there's a huge demo that's like Deadwood, never seen it, never heard of it. But if you're talking like the pantheon of like the OG, like you go back to before those, you go to the Oz days, you go to
Yeah.
and Deadwood's there. It's like a Gold Rush Americana type like history show.
It's a Western, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I think it's a little more like, it's not like cowboy. I guess it is. I guess it's like more real cowboys than
Okay.
like cowboys and Indians type
Yeah.
shit. It's he's like a saloon owner, whorehouse like pimp guy, and just a bastard, like piece of trash. But you root for him, kind of to be, to win, if you will. Like very complex, very good. Not gonna be a big pick on the poll.
I don't
Not
know,
gonna
man.
get-
People really like that show.
I think you got to be. First of all, you got to be a little bit older. I think.
Yeah.
Like, none of the younger kids are watching it, but I think if you did watch it and you do know it, he deserves to be up there with Tony. He deserves to be up
Okay.
there
Really?
with like guys that are monster TV characters. It just never quite got love. I know Rear Admiral's gonna love it. Put it this way, Rear Admiral will love this. You know,
Now-
and I think they did a Deadwood. They did a Deadwood
Yeah.
movie, and it because they tried to wrap it up because I think that got fucked by the writer's strike.
Okay.
I want to say it was one of those shows that like they just couldn't finish it
Yeah.
right the way they wanted to. But I went with my gut, went with
Okay.
my heart.
Now you said like with The Wire and The Sopranos, like they don't. I don't know if you said the word hold up, but like if I like you're not going to go back and watch them. Do you think if I went
I
back
think
and
you
watched?
would.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think there's something almost to like shows that are period pieces. Like if you go back to The Sopranos, it's not like you're going like the Old West. I don't even know anything about the Old
Yeah,
West. You know
true.
what I mean?
Okay.
This
Yeah.
is like I kind of lived through that period, and now we're going back a little bit. But we're not going all the way back in time.
Okay.
I think that's kind of something that like when you go back just a teensy bit in time, it's not. Doesn't hold up as much because
yeah.
the world is different and
Yeah.
changed. But this is like the 1850s or whatever.
Even like some of the older shows, when you just flip them on, it's like that's not HD. Like how the fuck am I supposed to watch this? Yeah.
right.
Now,
Yeah.
HBO old school though, would you recommend this or Oz first?
I think this, to be
Yeah,
honest.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I should check this out.
Yeah, I think everyone's been telling me to watch that like
Al
forever.
Swearingen.
He was
Carl.
on every single list, like top 5
Yep.
HBO characters.
He,
ever I
he
saw.
really like deserves it. And the actor, I actually believe he passed away recently and is a fucking like Hollywood G. Like he is, what's his name?
Ian McShane.
Yeah, Ian McShane. Did he die? Did I make that up? Yeah,
I don't think he had a
I think I
cameo
made
in
that
Game
up.
of Thrones as the guy who saves the Hound when they're like doing the religious
Oh
village.
yeah.
that's him.
Yeah, no, I made that up. He's alive.
Good.
All right, Carl, you're up.
One guy from The Wire. We're taking 2 guys from The Wire. I'm gonna go to battle with that on this one. I'm taking Stringer Bell.
I was
in the
gonna
fifth
do.
round
I
is
know
just
that
the
you left it.
I was gonna.
You
I
left it
could have
because
taken
I
him in
wasn't
the
gonna
second
take
round.
it.
Yes,
and I was
could've
gonna
taken him-
fuck you by taking it.
Yeah, you could have.
But I'm a man of honor and a man of my
Good for you.
my integrity
No,
and my heart.
and I didn't have to take Paulie Walnuts. I knew you weren't going to take him, but it's just like gamesmanship,
Mm-hmm,
sportsmanship, I should say. What do you want me to say about Stringer Bell? If you haven't seen it, he's obviously just a sweet badass. He's the business side of the gangsters.
Would you say that was Idris Elba's like coming out party?
I would say so.
Was he already?
That-
He
You
You know
wasn't
the story
already,
how he
like-
got it because
No.
he's got the British. He's got a British accent.
Which that was one of my favorite things in the world, by the way, is when you find out someone's British when you didn't know.
Dude,
It's
Andrew
I'm always
Garfield.
like, wait, what? They have
Christian
a fucking
Bale
accent?
still gets me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when I found out Idris, because I think I'd only seen bits and pieces of The Wire,
And then-
where he
yeah.
just seems like a fucking absolute American guy, and I was like, wait, what?
Tom Holland's doing that to me now.
Yes,
'Cause
that
it's like,
fucks you
what
up, too.
the fuck?
Yeah.
Tommy Holland.
Yeah.
All right. So story goes, Idris Elba's like reading for the part, and he's a kind of like a Broadway trained guy. A lot of
Yes.
most of the actors, almost every actor that comes over from or that makes a name out of England or the United
They
Kingdom
have to, yeah.
is like really
Trained,
technically
classically,
trained and
yeah.
all that shit. And so it was supposed to be like a big show coming up, and the part was right. And I don't know if it was his agent or a friend who was reading for it. Was like, here's a situation. They're going to take a good look at you, but if they know that you're British, they're not going to give you the role or whatever.
Wow.
And so he went through the entire audition with like the Stringer Bell accent.
So he was so unknown that even people in the industry didn't know that.
Yeah, when he was reading for Idris
So
Elba.
he
That-
that
I
was
love
those
definitely
kind of
his coming out
stories.
party then.
And then there was something where I don't know if he got the part and then revealed it, and they were like, "Aha!"
imagine that?
Or he went to reveal it, and they're like, "Oh yeah, dude, we know." There was some
okay,
part of the
alright.
reveal where
I
it's
would
like,
find it hard to
"Aha."
believe that like nobody
Yeah,
no one had a
sitting in
clue.
that room at
Like,
HBO.
I would
found out,
imagine
but-
you're filling out W-2s and shit. You gotta tell them your birthplace.
Well, not
yeah,
in
but
the
you're probably not
audition.
at that point
Yeah, nah, I
in,
know,
in the
I know.
process, but that's awesome.
He was in a lot of shit before that.
Big stuff.
I'm not seeing anything big unless it's something I.
I just feel like
don't
that was
know.
where you know the name, and then everybody wanted to be James Bond after that. Like that was the big, and now he's got that DJ career. Apparently, he's like a good DJ.
Really?
I believe
Yeah.
that.
What's it
great.
called?
A name Idris Elba, like if you guys spin.
Lucius is a show on Netflix. I think it's one of the streaming services where he plays a cop. Unbelievable.
Okay.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Super
yeah, yeah, yeah.
underrated. Some, I think
Or
it's Lucius.
Lucifer.
Luke fights
Lucifer.
for sure. No, it's not Lucifer. It's
not?
Well, I'll get it real quick.
So the other
Luther.
Luther, that's right. Why
Very
Lucifer?
fucking
That
good.
was
It's on,
dark.
Yeah, I was like, I think that's the devil's name. I don't think.
Yeah, they're not.
It's on BBC. It was on the BBC One, and then like so it's
Okay.
on streaming services.
Yeah.
BBC puts out fucking
They
hits.
do.
Oh, yeah, they do.
Yeah.
So I'd say Stringer Bell's character is really cool in the show because he kind of legitimizes all of this awful criminal underworld dealing and tries to take it legit, and it's just a very cool storyline in his relationship with like the heavy hitting bad motherfucker that's in jail and hey, I'm going to take over the game. I'm going to run operations for you while I'm actually sneakily kind of taking over things. And his showdown with Omar's legendary.
Well, it's just
You know
always
what?
who's the badass, right? And it's always, is it the loud guy who's out there fucking really going out with the guns, or is it the guy who's behind the scenes pulling all the strings? And that's
I
Stringer
just
Bell.
know there's a scene with him and another character on the rooftop where they
He's like Sean in
Yep.
Baltimore. He's
and
like,
they
"Yo,
and
we're
they're
all
I think one
hoes."
of them knows they're like a dead man walking or something, and they're kind of having. I think they're even at odds, like he's gonna kill him or whatever, and they're
Yeah.
kind of having like a one last talk or whatever it was. Even not knowing all the details, I've watched that scene and been like, "Whoa, that was some acting right
Oh,
there."
and the abandoned. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
yeah.
I'm gonna restart it. I'm gonna give
You're
it one
sold?
last shot.
It's just hard, you know. It's just
It's just so fast. They don't give a fuck about catching you up or introducing
Yeah.
you to characters. They just like take you in the
go.
middle
Throw
of the
you in.
story.
Got to read the Wikipedia after.
Oh,
That's what I always do.
So did you
It
like
helps.
the pick there? Are you
Oh, yeah.
saving
Sure
it for the
helps.
5th round? Or
No.
no.
Stringer Bell's
I
awesome.
consider doing it blind. Like that's a
Yeah.
great value.
Good pick. All right, it's to me, and I'm kind of in the same boat. I'm really wrestling right now because I have one guy who needs a lot more shine in a newer show, and then I have one person who I don't know how I don't have Sopranos on my board.
that
like-
would be unbelievable.
That's hard.
Is your newer show? What's
What's the show?
How can
Is
we
it
let
a-
you get
it-
out of here without taking a Sopranos?
is the newer show a one-word
It
name?
is. It is.
Literal name?
It is.
Oh,
It is. So you know,
And are you gonna go main character or bit character?
bit,
And I got him written down right here.
and you know he's awesome.
Yeah.
And that's who I thought when you were talking about you were talking about Veep. I was like, oh, fuck,
When I
he's
said
talking-
comedy,
Yeah, I was
yep.
like, fuck.
Nope.
I don't think I could do it though.
Wow.
Or do I do it?
I mean, if this is between, see, this is where, I guess I don't know Sopranos well enough, but it's like this is a bit character, and also you're going for the win or not, because I don't think a lot of people,
Yeah.
you know, the people who do know it are going to respect the fuck out of you picking that.
Yeah.
But if they don't know it, you're not going to get any value out of that. So are you trying to win, or are you trying to, you know, draft the best characters?
I
Also,
guess-
is there anybody left in the Sopranos? Yeah, there's a bunch of like big names. left in
There's a
the
huge
Sopranos.
one left, and I
hey,
took
just do it. Just take Livia.
I took him. I took him in the Sopranos draft. I guess I've watched it way more, so I got to go with the Sopranos guy, Christopher Moltisanti.
Yeah, even I know that.
Yeah, he's just you know, like I said, he's just meant more to me, and like that show still has a ways to go. You know, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not.
yeah. And you could even, you know,
Can
who
we
knows?
say what that show is?
Yeah, I mean, unless
Well,
There's
yeah,
no way Dave's taking that show.
have you seen
I got
Barry?
my pick
Have you
already.
seen Barry?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
No Hank.
Yes.
Yeah. No Hank is
Unbelievable.
I put him like if I'm not drafting to try to win and I'm just throwing out like memorable and funny characters, I would take him like in the first fucking round. He
is so
great. The way he
fucking funny.
looks, the way he talks, the situations he finds himself in, hilarious.
I know.
Murdering his AA sponsor.
You watched it too? Okay.
What?
Do you-
oh, I thought I'm sorry. I was right now, Christopher.
Oh,
Moltisanti.
sorry,
You guys
sorry.
were laughing about the guy that you didn't draft.
Yeah.
Correct.
All right. I thought we. Never mind.
I was like, well,
No,
that's
that's
that
a-
is
that's
kind of.
bad
I
on
was
my
like, did he
part.
murder?
Yeah.
So you aren't taking Barry. You're not taking
No,
no.
I'm
No,
gonna-
he
I'm
took-
gonna
he
take
took Christopher,
And now I regret not taking Noho Hank.
You want to do it?
No,
'Cause I was gonna say,
Christopher. In the grand scheme of things, he means more. But right now, Noho Hank's the hot guy to me.
Yes,
You know what I mean?
it's a recency bias,
Yeah.
and he's very endearing and all that shit.
Yes.
But
Mhm.
for someone like you got to have Sopranos on your board.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go with Moltisanti. What's up?
Nah, he's good.
All right, Mr. Irrelevant.
I think it's a perfect Mr. Irrelevant because that's kind of what he was in the show. But I'm going Johnny Drama.
Yep, that would have been probably my second pick of Entourage.
Yeah, I think those are the only two.
Turtle's draftable in my opinion.
Turtle is
I think
draftable.
Lloyd might have been draftable. Hilarious.
Lloyd is great.
See, that's like, you know, it's just a
That's just
quantity
2D.
sort of thing. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like there's just not many scenes with him. But
Right. Johnny Drama. I mean, it's Johnny Drama.
yeah, no, he's
I would say if you put a poll out of there's 5 main characters with Ari, that Drama and Ari would be runaway first and second.
I think it's distant second as well. I think Ari's gonna
Yeah,
take that
probably
cake.
for sure.
God, I mean, that show, it is a little Nickelback-ish, and some people in the movies
It's
kind
still-
of like, you know, maybe
Dude,
whatever.
You
but
know,
like,
he's
it was
actually
so
married to
much
that
fun.
blonde chick
Wait,
in real life.
What?
That blonde chick in the beginning of the movie that he's banging. I have only seen the movie once. It was
Yeah,
whatever.
I don't really remember.
She's the hottest girl of all time. just perfect. He's
That-
married to her in real
dude,
life.
When we had Turtle on, when we had Jerry on the show for the first time, or I think I did it by
I've
myself
talked to
with
him a
Mail
bunch. He's
Time,
a good dude.
He was talking about I don't even want to get him in trouble with this because it probably doesn't fly anymore. But I was like, what was it like being on the set? Like young dudes, like you were probably living kind of like the Entourage life. And he said, and I was like, with all those girls, the extras, the side characters, all that. And he said they used to throw out the franchise tag where they would be like, that one, like they would draft, like that
Oh,
one's mine.
yeah.
like
dude.
Davis basically, and they would call it the franchise tag.
That's
I was like,
funny.
holy shit, dude.
Must be
Crazy.
nice.
Must
Yeah.
be nice.
That is nice.
Is that it? That's
I
everything.
think
Yeah, that's it.
I
yeah.
mean, the honorable mentions. I feel like you could do a whole. We could have done a top like 20. I feel
Yeah.
like.
No.
You
But
really could've.
The one from Succession. I feel like Greg the Egg is
Yeah.
the name
Yeah.
of Succession.
I thought you were gonna say Womsky.
I think
to be
there's-
honest.
Well, so
I have them both
so
on
to
my
me,
list,
it's almost like
yeah.
this joint package. But the reason I don't think Womscams is because I think like literally the name. I think it's like
Yeah.
Greg the Egg has become a thing, and I actually think Womskins is the better. I think he is like the best actor on that show.
Yeah.
In the sense of like, I don't think I've ever seen someone convey awkward and embarrassment and shame like him. Like there are scenes I'm watching with Tom where I'm like, oh my god, I cannot believe that. When he says it's a closed loop system, it's not. It's not. It's not cheating because it never like
It's
left my
vile,
body.
yeah.
And like, oh my
She
god,
spit it back into my mouth.
unreal.
Yeah.
But those were the two. Like it's strange. I taking Logan when I feel like I loved Greg, Tom, and Roman in a way more than him in
Yeah.
a sense. But the those side characters are and Jonah.
Yeah.
The guy I was talking about was Matt Walsh from. He's the bald guy with the
Yeah, with the
ginger
must-
beard.
yeah.
Yeah.
From Veep.
From
Yeah.
Veep, yeah. But Jonah
Yeah.
Ryan being the Veep guy, like there's so many, and Selena's Tobias. I know him as Tobias.
Yeah,
from
yeah,
fucking-
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
But
that was a
there's-
great character.
From Thrones, I think there was a lot of like cool characters. Like I had the Viper written down, even though he was only in like a couple episodes. The guy who fought the Mountain in the
yep.
where guys were just like in and out. It was like that was fucking badass,
Yeah.
you know. I would have said Joffrey as like I think he was like the most villainous in a way of
Dude,
like,
no way. He thought he was. He acted like it. He paraded around like
yeah,
it. He was
yeah,
a
but
pussy.
I guess the most like hateable like to
Yeah.
me he
Yeah, I hated
he
him.
makes me like disgust him. Like,
Yeah.
I guess pure villain. Maybe maybe you're right. I'm using the
Like
term
I would,
villain.
I would,
I would
take
say
Bolton over him in a
Cersei.
fight. for
Cersei
sure.
was
Yeah.
evil too.
And Cersei, yeah, I think
Yeah.
there was
Like
more
pure evil.
What I guess I was trying to say before I was mentioning other characters. I think other characters did more like creative, interesting evil. You know what I mean? This dude was like,
Okay.
I kidnap you and chop your dick off. Where Cersei is like fucking ruining families and double crossing and you know all that kind of shit.
Yeah, but I guess like I kidnap him, but then like let him go just to catch him
Yeah,
again.
yeah,
And
yeah,
then, like,
yeah.
hey,
There's levels
like,
to it. There's levels to
yeah,
it.
like
Yeah,
I feel like
yeah.
he like the way he tortured Theon was whew, diabolical.
Eating
Then
the sausage and shit.
even the way who was the brother that he killed with the arrow? Like, hey, you're gonna run across a battlefield. Like,
fucking Rickon, you got
Rickon-
a serpentine,
yeah,
dude.
yeah.
Side to side,
Right.
zigzag, you dumb fucking asshole.
I hate that scene so much.
so much.
Yeah,
Like,
but
just
but
go
even-
left, go right.
even that was like,
Yeah, that was
you know,
great.
like that
Yep,
was like a
yep.
diabolical mental warfare move. So the Womsgams thing, because he was so integral to the end of season 3, like how to flip that, like that took.
He
for
became
me,
a major.
Yeah, like he elevated himself above like a comedic relief guy to be like, this guy is like very important to what that show is.
I'm trying to look at the other people on the. I mean, when you just type in like HBO
Yeah.
characters, it's a fucking
Leon,
endless list.
Leon from Curb is great.
Yeah, that was a
Um,
good big character. I was wondering if people would take Barksdale over Stringer.
No, Stringer's the guy.
Stringer's guy? Okay.
Like the idea of Avon Barksdale is what makes him, because
Yeah.
there's not a lot of like scenes where he's actually being a bad dude. It's just
Okay.
like the legend and the aura of like, oh my god, this guy is he's the number one.
You know
dog.
where I was out on the wire when who I thought was going to be the main antagonist throughout the series got framed for hanging himself in the prison. That's where I was like, this is fucking stupid. It drove me crazy, and that's when I tapped out. The very first time, I never got to it. The next few times I
You
tried
didn't
to
even
watch.
make it past season 1.
So, but that's
season one?
scenes
I think
to
so,
show
right?
you like A, the extent those guys go to, and then B, like McNulty's investigation of that though, because like McNulty gets his hands on it. McNulty to me is
Was he a
he's
draftable
such
guy?
yes, but he's so frustrating. Like you just cheer for
Another
just
British
want
dude.
him.
Yeah.
But
That
it's
one
like
fucked me up.
if McNulty cleaned his shit up at the end of the series, though, I would have hated it. Like he has
that's
to
too
bomb. He
right.
has to be the fucking alcoholic, degenerate detective who's super talented. Because if he turns that corner, then he's not McNulty.
Right. Who was your one pick from the leftovers?
I was just going to ask you the same question. I Patty Levin.
Yes.
Okay.
100%.
All right. Yeah.
That's a villain, man.
Yeah.
That is
Wait, the
Yeah.
leftovers. What?
the you know the leftovers at all or no? Do you know the
It's
show?
like
The show, it's like there's a
2% of the-
rapture,
yeah.
and 2% of the world just disappears one day,
Like-
and it's like we don't know what
Okay,
happened.
like
did not watch
so
it.
they're
it's a
at the
very,
dinner table and they just disappear.
so it's a very like, is religion real? Is God
Yeah.
real? What happened? Where did they go?
How do you
Are
deal
they
with
dead?
grief? Yeah.
To me, that was like. If something like that ever happened,
Yeah.
that's why I loved that show, and I think I was one of like 16 people in the whole world who watched it.
You and me.
I used to write like 5,000 word
Yeah.
write-ups, being like, nobody's watching or
Yeah.
reading this, but I
I
love
don't-
the show because if something like that ever happened,
Yeah.
it would be like everything would be thrown into question, from religion to life and all that shit.
And like, of course,
And
there would be
she
weirdo
was-
cults reacting to
Right.
that, and like nothing matters or everything matters, and
She was like the head of the cult,
Yeah.
of like these people who kind of become like terrorists almost in a way, and she was.
yeah,
And a great fucking actress.
Great.
Ann
Oh,
Dowd is her
awesome.
name. She's been in
Yeah.
a lot of shit since.
Yeah.
She's really fucking
I'll
good.
give that. That sounds like it's up my alley. I'll give that a shot.
yeah.
Too.
It's slow. It's it's depressing.
It goes a
every
little
week
off
people
the
are like,
rails,
I can't
too.
fucking
Yeah.
I mean, eventually it becomes kind of real where it's
Yeah.
like there's a fucking machine and this
Yeah.
and that. But yeah, very very. If you're into that kind of shit,
It's
like,
it's by the same people who did Lost, I think, too,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I think I did the first 2 seasons. I don't know if I finished.
I think there's only one after that.
yeah,
Well,
there's only
there's
I think
three,
I think
yeah.
it was abbreviated, and they
Yeah.
do weird shit where it's like it's almost like you got to be a TV nerd where you got to respect
Yep.
the thought, and it's very creative, and it's like weird shit.
Anybody watch Righteous Gemstones?
I heard it's great though.
I did.
Season 1's really funny, and I think the best character is Judy, like the sister, Judy Gemstone, like
Judy
she,
and BJ, the
Yeah,
like
them
it
as a
completely
couple.
crucified.
It's a very funny show.
Yeah.
I watched the first.
The first season's
Yes.
great. Second season
Yes.
just came out. I didn't think it was.
You know
as
what?
Good.
Very underrated. Don't know if anybody really watched it. Was very quick. Vice Principals.
Never saw it.
Oh, it's Danny McBride and Walton Goggins.
Oh yeah.
And
We
they
talked
are
about
just
that
like
with-
corrupt
Yeah.
gym teacher and vice principal, I think.
Yeah.
And it's just like, what if two? Well, it's probably reality. Like just scumbags who run a school.
Right.
Hilarious.
I
Like,
feel-
You know
yeah.
what that was? I think that was a big Barstool ad spend. I think it was like
Oh, really?
they pushed the premiere. They had a skin on the website, like one of
okay.
those. And so it was like in my face, in my face, in my face. And I watched I watched it, and it was like, this is hilarious. And I think it was some story behind like why it didn't get picked up or what
Yeah.
happened. It's a very funny show, though.
I feel like that's the sweet spot for Danny McBride, is that he needs like the same amount of people to watch his shows, but always different.
Yeah,
because he
yeah,
plays the
yeah.
same guy.
It's small doses. It's like, okay, we get it. You know?
Right. Because he's in Righteous Gemstones too.
Yep.
And it's the
Yep.
same character, different plot.
All right, I'll run down them all too, and we'll get out of here. Chief, Tony Soprano, Ari Gold, Marty Hart, Ramsey Bolton, Jonah Ryan, KFC, Larry David, Tyrion Lannister, Logan Roy, Selena Meyer, Al Swearigan, Carl, Kenny Powers, Paulie Walnut, Sandor Clegane, Peacemaker, Stringer Bell, Eddie, Russ Cole, Omar Little, Roman Roy, Cassie Howard, Christopher Moltisanti, White Sox Dave Dick Winters, Arya Stark, Rue Bennett, Stevie Janowski, Johnny Drama. All right.
It's a good draft.
else?
Yeah.
It was a really good draft.
I think
Good draft.
I think someone said it did get a little hard there. The character list kind of runs out there pretty short, where you can be competitive and then you're kind of getting into personal stuff. But
Yeah.
Shout out to Dario. Couldn't take her, but
Yeah.
What's that?
shout out to Dario.
Dario.
Yeah.
Oh
Those-
yeah. I mean that. What is her name? You know, what is her name?
In the show?
It's. I think it's because like we just respected. The
She's
tits
only in,
so
like,
much,
2
and
episodes,
The
though.
girl, yeah, and
Yeah.
like, but the GIF, man, when they just fall.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Horny
The-
pics for sure.
and
But
Horny
good,
Fat.
Kev, you're like the original television content guy. I feel like at Barstool, at least at Barstool, if not broader. Like,
well, I mean, I remember people being like, you think you're the TV guy and you don't watch The Wire and The Sopranos. It's like, I don't think I'm the TV guy. I do watch some shows and I talk about it. And I was around early enough at Barstool that like nobody else was doing it, but I never was like, hey Dave, I'm the TV guy.
Right.
Like I'm gonna do the TV branch of Barstool. So when people are like, oh, you know, he thinks he's like a TV critic critic or this and that, or you never watched that. I'm like, I like
off.
what I like.
Yeah,
I
no,
watch what I
like,
watch, and I
yeah.
talk about
Yeah.
it. You know,
I talk for a living.
Like you broke down Breaking. I remember you got me into like Breaking Bad. And
I
shit, and
watched
I was
yeah,
like, oh, these are legit.
the Breaking Bad recaps and the leftover recaps was some of the like the most enjoyable writing I ever
Yeah.
did, because it
Well,
was.
they were
And
like
I
I
5,000.
felt
had
like
a-
I was
had a-
watching Breaking Bad with you
Yeah,
because I was that into it too.
Right. I mean, and there was so much to be said, and I think, like I used to read Sepinwall, a lot of Alan Sepinwall recaps of shows. He's like a big TV writer, and I tried to do like what we do for with Barstool, like Barstoolify it, where it was like normal guys talking about it without talking about the cinematography and this and that. But it's hard to do TV content because you either spoil stuff for people, or you try to talk about it without spoilers, and then you really can't get into it.
Yeah.
So if I say, hey, spoiler alert, you lose half your audience who haven't watched it yet. Or if I just say we're talking about XYZ show and you don't watch that, you lose that group of the audience
Yeah.
too. So you got to try to be mass appeal while still being interesting and yada yada. So like there was times we tried to do like Barstool DVR, we tried to do its own show, and I think the way to do it is pick a show and do just
Deep
that.
dive, yeah.
The recaps, like the Game of Stools thing. I think we might try to start that up for House of Dragons.
Count me in. I'm in.
Yeah, I mean it was
Wasn't invited, but
Third
he's
chair,
in.
second chair.
Unbelievable.
I just talked to sales.
I
Yeah.
mean, we were doing like pretty big numbers for a show that we started the last season.
Yeah.
But obviously
Fucking
throws like a
Dave.
Or it was Charlie
want in.
Wisco who did all the
Awareness.
Yes.
all the recap,
Yep,
right?
yep,
Right?
yep.
Yeah.
Gun to head. What's your favorite TV show ever?
Shout out Wisco.
probably Breaking Bad.
That's what I would go.
It's you know it's a
Breaking
little
Bad.
cliche, but it's
Yeah.
and early Lost.
cliche for a
First like
reason.
1 through 4 of Lost, I think is some of the
Awesome,
best.
outstanding TV. Yeah.
And I like that kind of like not sci-fi, but like you know.
That's why you
whatever
like The
type shit.
Leftovers, yeah.
Yes,
Makes you think a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. Kevin, thank you. Great to have you here.
Thank you, guys.
That's it, everybody. We'll see you all tomorrow.